Hi, everyone. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, just recently, I conducted an interview with someone who I find to be very fascinating, Payman Mataheda of the Freedom Law School. And the reason why I wanted to talk to him is because there's an important issue that Americans are actually talking about, and that is not paying their taxes. It went viral over the holidays where many Americans were so upset by the Somali daycare fraud that they were posting all over social media that they were not going to pay their taxes. But Americans are furious for many reasons, and they don't want to pay taxes. Number one, they're tired of the national debt. We're nearing $40 trillion in debt, and this is what the government has done to America. But there's many more reasons. They don't want their money sent off to foreign wars, foreign causes, to pay for regime change in foreign countries that they've never even been to. And Americans are tired of the fraud. They're tired of the waste. They're tired of the abuse. And they're tired of no one being held accountable. Well, I found Payman's discussion to be extremely interesting. After all, he is an American that came here as a teenager from Iran. He loves this country, and he believes America is the greatest country in the world. But he hasn't paid taxes, income taxes, for over 30 years. So I decided to talk to someone else. And today, joining me is Joe Banister, a former IRS agent who he himself does not pay taxes. So, Joe, thanks for joining me today. I really want to dig into this with you. I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical. When I first talked to Payman, I was like, is this guy lying to me? How can this be real? Because as Americans, we just live most of our lives believing we have to file and pay our income taxes. We believe that's the law. And of course, no one wants to go to jail. So I'm very interested to talk to you. So can you tell me, when did you work for the IRS?
I started in November of 1993. That's when I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Sworn in Oakland, California. And then my first duty station was in San Francisco, California. Born and raised in San Jose, California, about 50 miles south of San Francisco. And I share your trepidation when you first met Payman, because that happened to me back in 1997.
Is that when you first met Payman?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So were you an IRS agent when you met Payman?
Yes, IRS Special Agent in the Criminal Investigation Division of the IRS.
And Payman was not paying taxes?
Well, I didn't meet him because I was investigating him.
Okay.
Basically, my backstory is that I would typically listen to talk radio. You know, we are talking about the 90s when we didn't have a internet like we have today. So, but I would listen to talk radio, and there's a talk radio station out there, KSFO.
Okay.
Still there today. And a host named Jeff Metcalf, who was a like Army Green Beret, you know, trustworthy. I think he rose to the rank of colonel.
Wow.
Retired out of the military, but everything that he ever talked about was very truthful. Maybe he sided more with the Republicans, but his motto was, it's not who is right or wrong, but what is right or wrong. You know, like what is.
That's great.
It's
that's what we should be doing today.
Yes.
Boy, he was ahead of his time.
I'm an IRS criminal investigator, but I didn't lose sight of the oath that I took, and I really like listening to him because he was very pro-Constitution, and everything that he ever talked about on the radio checked out. So one day, I think it was December of 1996, I'm listening to the radio, and he has a guest on his show who claimed that the income tax wasn't required to be paid by the vast majority of Americans.
Okay.
And so I'm driving around in my government car with my handcuffs, my Sig Sauer 9mm.
That's crazy.
Bulletproof vest, you know, everything ready.
Your badge.
The badge, the whole bit. And, you know, because I'm out there enforcing the income tax laws and the money laundering laws. And so again, we're talking the 90s, so she had these booklets that you could send away for in a place in Colorado. And it cost like $2 a book, so she wasn't making any money on it. She just needed, you know, for postage.
Oh, yeah.
So I literally sent away for these booklets in December of 1996, and I received the booklets in January of 1997. So I'd already been with the IRS a little over 3 years. And I enjoyed the job immensely, but not because I was, shaking people down for their meal receipts and things. I was going after money launderers and, big ticket lawbreakers. And so,
which is important.
Yeah. Even to this day, I'm not anti-tax or anti-government, but I would expect my government to obey the law and the Constitution.
Of course.
So January of 97, I get these materials, and they're basically like 40 to 50-page booklets, and they list, there might have been some websites, but we're talking about, 1997. But there were phone numbers and press releases and newspaper articles and those kinds of things. But there was more information than this DV Kid was her name, was able to talk about in a 1-hour show. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my springboard into just starting to dig in and basically investigate the federal income tax. And so by day, I would go to work as an IRS criminal investigator, doing search warrants and making arrests. I was the asset forfeiture coordinator for the Central California District, the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force coordinator, firearms instructor. I rose from a grade of 7 to grade 13 within 5 years.
Wow.
So I really worked hard at the job. I expected to spend a full 20-year career there.
Of course, yeah.
But at this 3-year point, I began to do this investigation on the evenings and weekends and off duty because I didn't ask anyone at the IRS for permission. I felt as a citizen, I could look into these things, and certainly the kind of job that I did, I felt it was really important and urgent that I get to the bottom of it.
You took an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Right. But as you said with reading Paymon, you're thinking, come on, what's going on here? And I mean, so you can imagine an IRS special agent, like I'm really thinking, what's going on here? But
I'm sure. I can imagine you must have been pretty conflicted.
Yeah. Well, it started out just thinking this can't be true. But
that's what I said.
Yeah. And so, but what are criminal investigators all about? About gathering evidence. And so during a 2-year period, basically throughout 1997 and 1998, I drove my family, especially my wife, crazy with, I'm already working a 50-hour work week.
Yeah.
And, plus commute, plus trying to be, soccer coach with the young sons. But meanwhile, I'm going to the law library because it's not like today where you can just get on the internet and do word searches.
No, it was much more complicated.
So I'd, go up to the San Francisco Law Library, the San Jose Law Library, the IRS's own law library. Just researching, going to regular libraries and buying books, renting books, checking out books.
That's incredible. You were basically pursuing your own law degree.
I felt like it after a while. And I also realizing, though, that even though I was a certified public accountant at the time, I had gone through the IRS training, 16 weeks of training at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center.
Okay.
Continuing ongoing training while an IRS special agent. Yet the things that I was learning were never taught. Supreme Court case law about the income tax, specifically.
To IRS agents?
No, in other words, court cases that we were never taught during our training.
Wow.
And, Supreme Court case law is pretty important.
I would say so.
But then if you're looking at those cases and they say something different than what the IRS does on a day-to-day basis, you can understand why maybe the IRS doesn't want to train you on those kinds of things.
Or rather, they should, but because your job is you're investigating people, and the outcome of your investigation can lead to people going to prison.
Right.
So you were having to do your own research to actually find out what the law actually said.
Right.
And how it would affect people that you're investigating.
Right. And there's a different culture in the IRS. Literally my first day on the job, before I was taken across the bay to be sworn in, because I came from the private sector and was raised to work, if you're earning money, you don't just sit there twiddling your thumbs. But I didn't have any cases yet because it's literally the first day.
Right.
And so I see the Internal Revenue Code up on the shelf, and I picked it up and I put it on my desk and I started to read the statutes that I was going to be investigating and enforcing. And my boss comes over and he says, "What are you doing looking in that book?"
Oh, what? Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, you're reading the...
Possibly be true. But
Right.
things like Supreme Court cases, the Code of Federal Regulations, the Internal Revenue Code, testimony before Congress back in the 50s, the 60s. Basically, the IRS uses the paper trail against people that they prosecute and that they audit. And it was actually the paper trail of the IRS that convinced me that there's something to this, just the documentation.
So what would that be if you give an example? What type of documentation?
Well, like I mentioned, Supreme Court case law. It just wasn't something, maybe there was one or two, like, McCulloch versus Maryland, a case from the 17 or 1800s. But in terms of case law on point about what income is, what the definition of income is in the Constitution, particularly the 16th Amendment.
Right.
Because, the public, and even me as a special agent, like, income is just income, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of ubiquitous. It's everything. But the Supreme Court says, no, it's very narrow as to what income actually is.
So this information wasn't obviously easy to find, and it wasn't sitting there nicely in one little law book in a library. You were having to piece it together from multiple libraries and multiple people.
Yes.
And at the same time, you're an IRS agent.
Probably one of the watershed moments was it was typical that if there was a search warrant on a big property or there would be a lot of people, then they'd have to call agents from all over different regions.
Right.
And so there was a search warrant down in Southern California, and so all the agents, including myself from Northern California, were taken down to this big property to execute a search warrant.
Sure.
And we go into this very huge house, and they had walk-in closets and walk-in everything. I mean, it was big. Anyway, the gentleman had a library of books, and I walk into this little library that he had, and I'm looking at the books because, we're seizing things. We're seizing jewelry. We're seizing anything that might indicate that this gentleman has broken the law.
Wow.
And I start to encounter books that I had on my own shelf.
Oh, my gosh. You're kidding me. Oh, that had to be such a weird, realization.
Yeah.
So you're in the process of seizing this man's property and his wife's property. He's under massive investigation. Obviously, you guys had a warrant. This was a big operation, and you're seeing the same books that you're reading. What did you think?
Well, it wasn't my case. In other words, like I say, we were brought down to just do certain things. At the time, I was the asset forfeiture coordinator. So even though there were a lot of agents that were senior to me, it was my job to be able to justify that whatever was taken, we had the authority to take, or at least take into evidence.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of the guys that had white hair back when I had brown hair, who said, that
happens to all of us.
they wanted to take a bunch more than they were authorized to take. And so I had to, go toe to toe with these older agents and say, look, I'm the asset forfeiture coordinator. I have to be responsible for the stuff that we're taking. And we're not taking, they wanted to take the jewelry. They wanted to take all kinds of stuff that just wasn't authorized. And so I had to say, look, we're not doing it. And they backed off.
Good for you.
And the wife and the daughter were actually present when I was having this argument with these other agents, and they're just like, why is that guy sticking up for us? But it was more just sticking up for the law.
The law.
And not wanting to break the law. And some of the other agents were just very cavalier. It's like, well, let's take the jewelry. Let's take the stuff out of this closet. Like, they just wanted to mess with the people. That's what it seemed like. I couldn't read their mind. But
Or actually, they didn't know what you knew.
Well, that wasn't their responsibility, but then they were just so cavalier about,
just taking
everything. Take all the jewelry. Like, well, if you don't have the justification, why are you taking someone's property without...
Basically stealing their property.
I mean, that's, I would call it theft if you take it without permission or right, sure.
Well, I would imagine they were not happy with you that day.
No, but fortunately, I had the position of the asset forfeiture coordinator, so they had to just kind of back off because I had earned a pretty good reputation by that time as a hard worker and I was straight with everyone. I didn't play favorites or wasn't a jerk to anybody. But that day was a real watershed because I'm like, okay, well, I've got the same books, and not only the same books, but I mean, some of those books had some really powerful information in them.
Oh, yeah.
Part of what convinced me, or at least opened my eyes to things that the IRS never taught me, was never on the CPA exam, not in my tax class at San Jose State University.
So I'm sure you were wondering, like, who is this guy?
Yeah, and why wouldn't I have been shown this information during an IRS training? I mean, if I'm here to support and defend the Constitution, right?
Of course.
And obey the law, but they're hiding all these parts
hiding
of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was about 2 years, 2.25 years of this off-duty, just pounding on it, just little by little and chipping away. So when it got to be early 1999, I was talking with Paymon pretty frequently. He'd introduced me to all kinds of, patriotic people who, again, it wasn't really about their personality necessarily, even though they were all salt of the earth people, but they had real evidence to show me, like internal IRS transcripts that showed fraudulent coding, information out of the Internal Revenue Manual, which is the IRS's Bible, right, about how they're supposed to actually enforce and administer the law. They showed me sections out of that I thought had to be made up, that the IRS had very limited authority. And I went upstairs to the IRS Law Library while I was working there, and I went to find those sections that I thought maybe they just put together on a copy machine.
Sections that match those codes?
They're actually it basically is the Bible of the IRS that tells the agents what they can and can't do.
Oh, okay.
And so these pages that I received from people in the public, right. I thought maybe you're just copying and pasting and cutting and pasting and making this up, because it was like the authority was so limited.
Yeah.
So much more limited than what I was taught was the case.
Okay.
So I go up into their books, and maybe nowadays everything's on the internet, right? But then you actually have the little pages, then you have to turn them and go to the right page. So I went and I checked, and the same pages that I was shown from these witnesses outside in the public were right there in the IRS's own rule book.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm like...
So the people were right.
They were right.
And they were trying to say, look, here it is right here. And the IRS has that information in their own library, but yet the IRS is prosecuting these people. Is that correct?
Yes. In fact,
what in the world?
In the San Jose office where I worked, there was an Internal Revenue Code. The story I told you before, that was in San Francisco, my first day on the job. But then when I migrated down to San Jose, my hometown, I went to look for an Internal Revenue Code in the office. It had dust on it.
No.
Nobody ever looked at it.
Oh, wow.
It had dust on it.
That's not good. That's not good at all. So it's really honestly hard to comprehend. So imagine these people. I can easily imagine it. Attorneys cost a lot of money. They charge by the hour. So I would imagine these people that were trying to show these pages, if they're being prosecuted, they're having to defend themselves with attorneys. They're spending a lot of money on that, all the stress and everything they're going to while they're trying to fight it and say, no, I'm right. The IRS actually has the information, but it's still prosecuting them.
Yeah.
And these are Americans.
Yes.
In the freest country in the world.
that's the reason when
At least that's what we're told, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I was naive enough, I guess, to go work for the IRS. I'd actually applied to the FBI and the IRS. And
right. Listen, Joe, I get that. I was naive enough to run for Congress and serve there. And guess what? I found out a lot of bad things, too. It's a terribly
we
broken
know
system.
Fellow travelers, aren't we?
That's right. Me and you. So this is incredible. So what happened next?
Well, I knew there were certain principles that I needed to stick to. Okay, I mean, first of all was the oath to support and defend. Well, actually, first was God, but you take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and you take it to God or in front, before God. And so, that was non-negotiable right there. I took an oath. I took it to God. And so I have to remember the Constitution, first of all. But there's also Treasury rules of conduct. They're the ethics of the CPA profession. I was a CPA for 15 years. My parents raised me not to steal from people or help other people steal from people, right?
Yeah.
And so there was enough evidence to convince me that I needed to speak up. And so
this weighed very heavy on your conscience.
Yeah,
Yes.
it did. Yeah. And very difficult for my family in the sense that, my wife, we had to take a tremendous pay cut to go from the private sector and get the job in the IRS.
Sure.
And I thought, well, I'll work my way up the ranks and it'll be okay. And, 20 years, because it's a 20-year retirement.
Of course, yeah.
In law enforcement. So anyway, I had to, kind of difficult. What I did is I gathered together some of the highlights of the evidence that I had gathered, and tried to keep all opinion out of it, just facts.
The facts of the case.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was paid to learn how to do. I was trained to do it. So I gathered the facts, not everything, because it would fill thousands of pages.
So Lee Strobel wrote the case for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You put together the case for not paying income taxes as an IRS agent.
Unwittingly.
This is great.
So anyway, I gathered together my facts because I was basically going to approach my immediate supervisor, who's called a group manager, and then his supervisor is called a special agent in charge, an SAC. And so I did approach him and say, actually, he already knew because he was a friend of the family. He already knew this was going on because my mom and my wife, unbeknownst to me, went to him and said, "What's up with Joe?"
Oh, because they're good women.
Yeah.
And they loved you.
So they were having some conversations that I didn't learn till later.
They were worried.
But he said, "I don't know. I know Joe's an honorable guy, and he didn't really know how to deal with it. But he was my boss, so I had to funnel my concerns through him up the chain of command. And so I provided, the evidence that I had gathered, not everything, but the highlights. And I wrote a transmittal letter with this report that I had put together. And I said, look, I've gone to bat for the agency and the income tax, but, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and I can't serve two masters. There's something here, and I need to speak up about it. You all are special agents too. You all took the same oath that I did.
Yeah.
You're all governed by the same Treasury rules of conduct. This is a bitter pill that I'm offering to you, but we have a duty to grapple with this.
It's the truth. It's because it's the truth. No, you did the right thing. I did the same thing in Congress with the Epstein files. I fought to release the Epstein files, and that resulted in President Trump calling me a traitor.
I've followed your story very closely.
Let me tell you something, though. I'm not sorry. And I bet you're not sorry either.
I'm not. I mean, living by the truth is, there's nothing like it. And
That's right.
I don't want to venture and see what it's like to live the other way. But,
No. We sleep good at night.
Yeah.
So how did they respond to this?
Well, it took a couple days of digestion of the bitter pill. And I was called into the Special Agent in Charge's office a couple days after I provided the information.
You had to have been so nervous.
I was. I really was. So I sit down with the group manager and then the special agent in charge, and he says, Joe, what I'm about to do, I've been instructed to do. He handed me a memorandum. And this is all on my website. People can check it out for themselves. But it basically said that we will not be responding to any of your questions or concerns, and we will provide you with the paperwork necessary to tender your resignation. And you can go down, this wasn't in the memo, but he told me you can go downstairs with your group manager and hand over your firearm, your credentials, your badge, and we'll leave you with a pager. We're talking the 90s.
Yeah.
We'll leave you with a pager. We're going to send you home for a week of administrative leave, and then you can tell us how you'd like to proceed after being home for a week.
Unbelievable. So you exposed the truth to the government agency that basically holds people's lives in their hands as they investigate and prosecute and is supposed to uphold the law and the Constitution. And you gave them the truth, and they fired you or wanted you to resign. They asked you to resign.
Yeah. I did ask, I said, can you tell me how far up the chain of command that you let them know that I had these concerns? And the SAC said that the Assistant Commissioner for Criminal Investigation was aware, and he answers to the Commissioner of the IRS.
I would imagine that went to the top.
So that's how high up it went. But anyway, so
what year was this again?
1999.
1999.
February of 1999.
Wow.
So anyway, I did go home for a week.
Yeah.
And that's when I had my wife already knew that this was going on.
Sure.
But she didn't know how it was all going to come to a head.
Oh, it had to be stressful. You had children and bills and...
Yeah. So I said, I'm probably going to have to go ahead and resign because I'd earned a very good reputation there. And I thought, if I want to stick around here or they're able to destroy my reputation, then nobody's going to believe me.
Well, that's what the government does.
They're pretty good at it.
Once you become a problem, that's what they do. They destroy your reputation. That's the first step.
I had a premonition, but, praise the Lord, that just got to keep that reputation because it might help you in the future. So
that's right.
I thought it'd be better to resign. And then you're also aware of how you're much more limited in how you can speak when you're, literally employed by the federal government, Hatch Act and all kinds of different things. So I just decided that it'd probably be best, not to mention, they plant something in my desk. I mean, you never know. And
right.
Granted, the people in my office I felt were good people. I trusted them. We'd go kicking in doors and search warrants, and,
Sure.
we don't want to be killed by friendly fire.
No, I'm sure you had many questions in your mind.
Yeah, a lot of swirling going on.
Yeah.
But basically, the message I was, getting was I really need to resign. And so that's, I've actually resigned on my birthday, February 25th, 1999. And it turns out that February 25th, 1913 is when the Secretary of State claimed that the 16th Amendment, the Income Tax Amendment, was ratified.
How about that?
So I share the same birthday.
A little bit of irony there. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I was born 50 years after the income tax, and then I resigned, when I was, 36 years old on my birthday.
On the anniversary of that day.
Yeah.
That's the irony of that says a lot.
Well, I would kind of ask the Lord, why is this happening to me? Why am I doing this? And he kept having me look at my birthday.
Yeah. It speaks to you. So what then? You're now basically unemployed.
Well, then now I've got a lot more balls in the air I'm juggling.
I bet.
It's, taking care of my family first and foremost to provide for my family. But then I've just, lit a stick of dynamite inside the IRS.
Big time.
Did it personally. But also realize that, well, what did all this evidence show for what Joe Banister is going to do about his own personal tax situation?
That was like a challenge, right? You found out everything, and now you're moving on to private employment. So what does Joe Banister do with his own personal income?
Well, so the first step, like as I say, protect my family and make a living.
Of course.
So I went back to the CPA firm that I left when I went into the IRS.
Okay.
And they wanted me back because it's like, well, Joe was great before he went into the IRS. We liked him. Now he's got 5 years of IRS criminal investigator experience.
And this is KPMG?
No, this is a smaller firm.
Smaller firm, okay.
They used to be managers at KPMG.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, come on back, Joe.
So within a week or two of leaving the IRS, I was back working again.
Oh, good.
But there comes a point, generally, when you start a new job where they give you the W-4 for withholding.
That's usually pretty quick.
And so I said, well, I can't sign this because this is a voluntary withholding agreement. And I start, reciting the...
This is great. You're at an accounting firm and they're giving you the standard paperwork and you're like a former IRS agent and saying, I can't sign this.
Yeah, and so...
Did they laugh? Or
well, I'm dealing with their personnel people.
Oh, yeah, okay. They didn't know what you're talking about.
So, yeah, you'll love the rest of the story. So I told the personnel people, I'm not required to fill this out, and, I'm not going to fill it out. I mean, if you can show me a law that requires it, I'm a law-abiding person. Of course, there is no law that requires it, so... I think this is maybe like the beginning of the week, this W-4 thing happens. So by the end of the week, one of the two partners invites me out to lunch.
Okay.
And so at lunch, he proceeds to tell me, Joe, I guess it's not going to work out after all.
Oh, man. Because you refused to sign your W-4.
And so I said, well, I mean, all I was asking for, if there's a law that requires it, I would absolutely just show me the law and I'll fill it out.
So I'm envisioning this as these very educated, accomplished CPAs in an accounting firm, and they're looking at you like you're not going to abide by the law because they lack the knowledge. And you had gained the knowledge
of
the Constitution and the law.
All I wanted to do is whenever you want to have a discussion about it, then they just, all of a sudden things get really quiet and suspicious. And,
sure.
And so, anyway.
Because we as Americans believe we have to pay income tax.
Right. As I'm sure all of their clients.
But the shocking part is the experts don't know that you don't have to pay income tax.
Or they don't want to know.
Or, okay, true. That for sure. Well, that was clear in the IRS.
Yeah.
They knew better than anybody.
Yes.
They just didn't want an agent that knew too.
So anyway, the lunch it was a good lunch, but didn't go so well because that was the end of my short week at the CPA firm that I had come from. So back out, looking for work.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there is I resigned in February of 1999.
Okay.
So April 15th of 1999 would have been for the 1998 tax returns.
Right.
So I had worked the entire 1998 year for the IRS.
For the federal government.
And I figured, I think it would be appropriate, since I had withholding from my paycheck and I'd been filing most of my life, I'm going to file a 1998 tax return because the year's already over.
Makes sense. Yep.
But again, nobody wrote books there's books out there, but in terms of guidance, it's really just prayer and just saying, Lord, please guide me. I want to be open to your guidance, but I'm kind of out, I'm on this wire without a net.
Sure.
So anyway, we filed the 1998 tax return in April of 1999. But then all of 1999 went by. And then when April of 2000 came along, I did not file a 1999 federal tax return.
Okay.
And that was...
And and that year, you were not employed by the federal government.
Right, working for myself.
You were self-employed.
And basically, looking at, all the evidence that I'd gathered while I was an IRS agent, the IRS suspiciously refused to answer, let alone even talk about.
Right.
So I had to go with what I knew to be true.
Yep.
Even if the IRS didn't like it.
Even we know they don't like it.
So I even wrote letters to the IRS after I left. I joined up with a group called the We the People Foundation for Constitutional Education.
Amazing. And
we had symposiums that were at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., just across the street from the Treasury building.
God bless you people.
And we were on C-SPAN with these symposiums where we're trying to get right in the backyard of the federal government.
And C-SPAN showed you?
And C-SPAN actually showed us. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Good for C-SPAN.
Probably the last time that they would ever do that again. But
I don't know. They show a lot of stuff.
So we had these symposiums, and that got even more attention, from the government. I was interviewed by the New York Times. I was on 60 Minutes. They did a hit piece on me, so I felt really good about that.
Got a little badge on her there. Yeah, you're doing good. You're climbing the ranks.
Yes, but anyway, in 2001, so about two years after I had left, I learned that I was under IRS criminal investigation.
How'd you find that out? Did you get a letter? What happened?
I believe they started to talk to people in the public. And so I learned from people like, hey, I got visited by some special agents from the IRS, and they were asking about you.
But they didn't tell you directly. They didn't notify you that you were under investigation?
I don't know.
Is that standard procedure? I honestly don't know.
I don't think they have to tell you.
They're not required to. Okay.
Sometimes they do, because maybe they think it'll be an easy plea, or they can, jack you up with a letter. But I don't think it's required. And so in my case, I just learned from their public contacts.
Right.
Got back to me. I think it was in Florida at the time. And I learned that, so I'm under criminal investigation. What for?
What for?
So anyway, I just continued to, and I never really sought out publicity. When people would say, no, there's actually an IRS criminal investigator that investigated the income tax, and he left over it, and he stopped filing over it, and so people were kind of interested.
Oh, yeah, they were interested. They were like, hold on, what?
But, of course, the federal, the IRS and the DOJ were interested also.
Well, you're giving them quite a credibility problem.
Yeah. So the investigation lasted about 3 years. So sometime in 2001, 2002, 2003. Then in November of 2004, I was indicted on 4 federal felonies. 4 felonies. One was conspiring to defraud the United States of America. And 3 of them were preparing, as a CPA, preparing 3 false federal income tax returns.
See, this is what terrifies people, is hearing about things like this.
Mm-hmm. Now, at that time, I had already not filed a federal tax return for 5 years.
For 5 years, okay.
And yet, I wasn't charged with anything having to do with my personal circumstances.
Wow.
They tried to take the focus away from my personal circumstances and what I believed about my, personal, whether I had a requirement by law to file or not, and tried to smear me and my client. What happened was the client he had already been paying federal income taxes his whole adult life, and he wanted to sue the government to get some of his income taxes back.
Oh my gosh. So not only he was really giving it to him. Okay.
So the first step is you have to amend your prior tax returns. That's kind of the first step in the process of seeking to get your money back.
Okay.
So, we already know Joe's a little naive, right? So he comes to me and he says, look, I want to sue the IRS to get my money back, and I need to file these tax returns to do it. Will you help me to make sure that I follow the law, all the procedures, and I don't want to make any mistakes, and I don't want to break any laws?
Okay.
And I thought, well, that's what a CPA should do.
Sure.
I'll help you do that.
Okay.
So those 3 tax returns, the IRS turned into, and DOJ, turned into false refund claims.
So they weren't even yours?
And I prepared them on his behalf.
You prepared them on his behalf. Okay.
Right.
I see now.
And then the 4th charge was conspiring with him.
Ah, I see. Now, there's something that is interesting to this is also it's a smear campaign that they can put headlines and about you and because you had become, you went public and you were talking about this. You had been on C-SPAN and the New York Times and CNN, and so you were a credible threat. And so part of, in my opinion, I would think part of the indictments were also to smear your name and take away your credibility.
Well, I learned quite a bit later, but I learned that you'll never guess who the head of the DOJ tax division who would have approved my indictment was a guy named Rod Rosenstein.
Oh my gosh, you can't even make that up. Wow.
I also learned that the special agent...
Talk about big government and deep state.
Like, oh, you did really good at the DOJ tax division. We got
incredible. Yeah, you were a threat. That's amazing. So how many years did you have to fight that?
So November of 2004 was indicted. I was arrested by agents that I used to work with.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
And I was arrested in San Jose, California, and the court was in Sacramento, Federal District Court in Sacramento. And so it was kind of comical, actually, because I was a firearms instructor and defensive tactics instructor at the IRS. So we would always train doing arrests. And so I was typically, because in my cubicle, I had bumper stickers that said, fear the government that fears your guns. And
right.
The experts agree gun control works, and it's, Mao and Castro. And so they kind of knew me as the Constitution guy, even...
Pro-Second Amendment, we like that, okay.
So I always ended up being the taxpayer in the training. Because
you were the one that they were always arresting.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't even make that up. Oh, my gosh. So in practice, it turned into real life.
Real life. So I, gave up peacefully, and they cuffed me in the front, which is like, if they were still working there, they'd probably get in trouble, not cuff me in the back. Had a nice little bottle of water there for me in their SUV.
That was nice.
So we get in the car, and they're from Redding up in Northern California, right? And they didn't know how to get from San Jose to Sacramento. So I had to give that, this is before GPS.
Yeah.
So I'd actually
give the map books.
I had to give directions to the agents who investigated me how to get to the courthouse.
It's amazing. Every detail of this looks so funny.
So they got me up to Sacramento. It's about a 2-hour drive, and not much conversation during the ride. And so, from my perspective, I would see. Or the arresting agents would bring the arrested person in through the Sally Port and the gates and the barbed wire, and I would see that from the other side. And now I'm the person within the handcuffs being led into the Sacramento courthouse and into the marshal's office to be booked and fingerprinted and photographed. So, So the funny story is when I was leaving the house, it was a little bit chilly because it was when was it? November, right? When I was arrested. And because it was chilly, they said, "Hey, Joe, maybe you ought to get a sweatshirt or something, something on." And so, of course, they don't want me to be digging through my drawers for, firearms or whatever. Even though we worked together, I don't think they really suspected me of doing something like that. But the top sweatshirt in my drawer said U.S. 3rd Infantry because my youngest brother served in the Army in the Honor Guard.
Wow.
And that was the sweatshirt
that you had on.
That I put on. So I wasn't trying to do stolen valor. It's just like...
That was just what you could
get. Get a sweatshirt on.
Yes.
So when I go into the U.S. Marshal's lockup in handcuffs, I'm wearing a U.S. 3rd Infantry sweatshirt, and they're like, "Who's this guy?"
Oh, wow.
you're bringing in.
Unbelievable. Okay, so you're arrested, you're under investigation, they indicted you. Fast forward, how many years did that take? Like, how did that turn out?
I had 7 months to prepare for trial. The trial occurred in June of 2005. I was indicted November of 2004. The law firm, Robert Bernhoft, who ended up also defending Wesley Snipes. The public's probably pretty familiar with famous people who've been targeted by the IRS and the DOJ. So Wesley Snipes was acquitted of all felonies, and
that's right. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, Robert Bernhoft was my defense attorney, along with a gentleman named Jeffrey Dickstein, who's not an attorney anymore. But they were my defense attorneys. So that day when I was arrested, I basically I was released after about 3 hours, even though the prosecutor said to the judge, Banister's former law enforcement, he's not going to want to go to prison, Your Honor. He's a flight risk.
Oh, gosh. Oh, please.
Trying to keep me locked up.
Yes.
But that didn't work. So I was out like in 3 hours.
Okay, so then
spent 7 months preparing for trial. 7 months
preparing for trial. How'd it turn out?
I was deservedly acquitted of all the charges.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they had a 30-year IRS agent as their expert who couldn't point out a single false or fraudulent entry on those 3 tax returns that I prepared.
That's incredible.
The special agents that investigated me, they asked him point blank, did you see any evidence of a conspiracy that Mr. Banister participated in? He said no.
So, Joe, you were a former IRS agent, not paying your own taxes. They came after you and tried to put you in prison for helping someone else, really. And
helping them obey the law.
Helping them obey the law and do what you were doing, which was really the greatest threat to them, is helping others obey the law and not pay their income taxes. And then you were acquitted. And have you paid taxes ever since?
Oh, no.
No, still not paying your income taxes.
No, and it's not civil disobedience. It's learning the truth, learning the facts.
This is so fascinating to me. This is what, so I, along with most Americans, didn't know that you just didn't have to pay your income tax.
Well, I mean,
federal income taxes.
Yes, I mean,
we pay a lot of other taxes.
The IRS, you know, it's had 80 years or more, 100 years really, but you know, decades to create this spider web that can ensnare people. And
well, we're not the only ones that think paying income taxes is wrong. President Trump agrees that that we shouldn't be paying taxes.
I was just reviewing a statement that he made.
What did he say about it?
This was January of 2005. Actually, I might even need my glasses. Sorry.
No worries. I always have to wear mine as well.
President Trump said, quote, "It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens," unquote. That was January 2025.
That was January 2025. Well, I believe it was April 2nd of 2025, just a year ago, was Liberation Day, where President Trump brought in and enacted all the tariffs. To start what he was just talking about there is President Trump's vision is for tariffs to replace income taxes, but yet President Trump is solely focused on fighting a war in the Middle East right now. And I think that's a shame. I wish he had stayed focused on eliminating taxes because Americans pay far too much taxes. So
there's still time, right? He's still the commander in chief. He runs the executive branch, and you know, after I was acquitted, the IRS went and audited me. Because you know I didn't have enough fun in federal court.
Round 2.
So they audited me, but that ended up being very valuable because I was able to learn that the IRS actually lies to their own computer systems in order to get assessments.
Okay, yeah, so quickly tell me about that. You had talked to me briefly about this before.
Well, the difficulty is like not getting too much into the weeds where people are like, but so you kind of have to sometimes with the income tax. So I'll do my best, but I hadn't been filing income tax returns. Most people know that a 1040 is the form, right? Right. Well, there's a form called a 1040A, capital A, 1040A. And that's more of a simplified 1040. But one of the things that a 1040A can do is you can ask the IRS to calculate your tax for you, your income tax. And there's actually a statute, a federal statute, 6014 of the Internal Revenue Code, that gives the IRS the authority, if you ask them, to calculate your tax for you.
Okay.
So, Joe, I hadn't filed anything, no forms at all. So I did a FOIA request for all the transcripts of what the IRS was basically saying about me in their own records.
During your audit?
During the audit.
That was smart.
So I come to find out that the IRS claimed that I filed a 1040A with them and that I asked the IRS to calculate my tax for me.
And you had not?
And I had not done that. But there was coding, fraudulent coding, that the IRS agents put into the system in order to get assessments against me.
Unbelievable.
Then I come to find out that they not only did that to me, but they probably do it to millions of Americans, but I've seen evidence that indicates they've been doing it for decades, and they've been doing it across the country to anyone that doesn't file. I learned it from Paymon as far as how widespread it is, because, Paymon has been helping people for 30 years fight the IRS. And so he has IRS notices that have been issued to people all around the country for decades. And that same 1040A scam
is what they do.
Is what they do to every one of them.
Unbelievable.
So I know.
How does a person document? How can someone cover their tracks, so to speak? How do you document that you didn't file one of those forms?
Well,
how do you prove them wrong?
As Paymon probably pointed out, the IRS enforcement and administration in 2026 is a whole different story than when I was there in the 90s.
Yeah.
There is some kind of an implosion going on. I wish I was a fly in the wall to see it.
Maybe it happened during COVID when they all refused to show up for work. Probably
a big part of it. But anyway, there's something bad, good for us, but bad for them going on in the IRS. But
wow.
The big clue for the 1040A scam is that you'll see 1040A, 1040A on the notice. That's the indicator. And then when you drill down and do a FOIA for transcripts, that's where you see all the fraudulent coding that the IRS will actually do in order to kick the can down the road and get an assessment against you.
That's incredible.
So I wouldn't, if I had filed a tax return, or maybe out of fear, I never would have discovered that they actually have to lie. The IRS has to lie to their own computer systems to get an assessment against someone like me who's not cooperating or not, just falling on my sword and swearing I owe the money. It's like, IRS, if I owe the money, you should be able to prove it. You should be able to make the assessment yourself if you have the authority. And that's where they can't, and they haven't done it to me. And as I say, with Paymon's help, finding out just how pervasive that fraud is. So I pray and I hope that, President Trump, who so many times has talked about getting rid of the income tax, well, here he sits in the White House. He's the head of the executive branch. He absolutely would have the power to find out why the IRS is doing this 1040A scam and basically administering and enforcing the income tax beyond their authority. And it's not Joe's opinion or Paymon's opinion. It's the IRS's own conduct.
And it's
crucifying
been
them.
proven.
Yes.
You know what? I hope and pray he does too. I want him to turn back to America first, because that's what he promised. How do people, you have a website. How do people learn more about you?
The website is agentfortruth.com.
Agentfortruth.com. Okay, we'll make sure we get that out there. And you've written a book.
Yeah, a book. It's called Investigating the Federal Income Tax, a Report to the American People. When I wrote the report back in 1999, it was called Investigating the Federal Income Tax, a Preliminary Report. Because I'm not an arrogant person. I'm a very humble person, and I could be wrong about this. So I'm going to make it a preliminary report. I'll get the answer from my bosses and the IRS officials and DOJ, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Yes.
And so 20 years later, in 2019, I changed the bottom of the title to, Investigating the Federal Income Tax, a Report to the American People.
And you published it into a book.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for telling your story. I've been fascinated by this. I'm interested, and I'm going to continue looking into it. I think it's up to each person on their own. Of course, I'm not going to advise everyone on what they should do, but that's what interests me about Paymon and the Freedom Law School and about your story. And you have such credibility, Joe. Your career is extremely admirable. You're an honest man. And I thank you for you telling the story. I think this is something the American people can do if they choose to do it. And I think now is the time.
I'm really grateful to be able to meet you and be on the show. And it's just been an awesome experience.
Thank you.
Marjorie.
Thank you so much.
Okay, later on, fix it, please. Okay, my friends. So that was, as you heard, the former gun-carrying IRS Special Agent with the Criminal Investigation Division of the IRS turned whistleblower, student of Freedom Law School since 1997, exposing the fraud of the income tax. The IRS is the original deep state. They started way back in 1913, deceiving you, making you believe that you are a slave. But you're not a slave. You are meant to be free. The founding fathers of America gave their lives, their fortune, their sacred honor, all on the line over 200 years ago to secure the freedoms that you still enjoy today. Right to free speech, right to trial, right to publish whatever you want, to get together with other Americans, expose and eradicate government corruption and lying, which is taking place right now. You are the boss. Those guys in Washington, D.C. are your public servants. They work for you. Who is the boss? You are, the American people. We need to think like that, number one, and then act like that. So, having said all that, I'm going to get your questions. Ready to get the questions answered? In a minute. So, in a minute, folks, I'm going to get your question answered. And some of you have sent us also paperwork. Yes, I will review up to 10 pages of any paperwork you got to go over at the Freedom Hour and answer if you had no charge. And by the way, stopthefed.com is the same as freedomlawschool.org. And we gave that because it helped us keep track of how many people are hearing from us, from interview by Marjorie Taylor Greene and others that we have been recently on the media. Last month, I've been on a lot of different platforms, media figures, Laura Logan, Dennis D'Souza, Redacted or Clayton Morris, Jimmy Dore, Matt Gaetz, and others, His Glory and others. So this was just a way of, keeping track of everybody better, how they are hearing about us. So, my friends, freedom is yours to enjoy. You're born to be free. So remember, go to our website, educate yourself. And then maybe before I answer your questions, tell you something interesting. I was talking to a guy today who has 12 years of post-high school education. That's right. Beyond high school, 12 years. And he's paid for my consultation time with me for half hour. And the thing is, all the stuff he was afraid or worried about is available for free on our website, freedomlawschool.org. All you got to do is go to freedomlawschool.org, and everything you need to know, like 99+% of it, is there for free. For free. All you got to do is go to freedomlawschool.org and take the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS deception. With that deception, they fool you. They make you be afraid of the IRS through deception. Once you're no longer deceived, there's no more fear. But with that deception, they make you afraid. With that fear, they got you. And they had this guy. Now they were robbing and enslaving him. He didn't realize it's you giving the IRS the power. Can you put that on the screen here, guys? By the way, this step 1 stuff when you get a chance. When you sign a 10 for income tax confession forms, you give the IRS the power to rape you, put the rope around your neck, and you give it to the IRS. You tell the IRS that you owe them income tax on the 1040 form, line 37. Go get your last year's tax return you filed, or 2 years ago. Go see what you signed when you signed under penalty of perjury at line 37. You do not need to be afraid of the IRS because there's 80 million of us that don't file. And you have only taxed about less than 30 U.S. tax court judges. You have a right to a trial, okay, if you do not file a 10 for income tax confession form. You give up that right. That's right. You give up your right to trial to challenge an IRS tax proposal they must, by law, send to you if you don't file a 1040 income tax confession claiming you owe the IRS money. Yes, you claim, you say that you owe the IRS money. They didn't force you to sign that form under oath. He didn't realize that. He was afraid. He asked me, has anybody gone to jail, prison doing your stuff? I said, it's right there. Look at our step 4 on our website, is all right there. The step 5. Here we go. None of our students have gone to prison. At Freedom Law School came to me, stopped filing paying income tax with Freedom Law School. There it is. I say it right there. He says he was at my website. He heard 4 or 5 of my interviews. I don't doubt that he heard 4 or 5 of my interviews. But guess what? No amount of interview of me with anybody or Joe Banister would replace you. Go into our website, go through these steps, and understand how you've been made to be afraid of the IRS like a Wizard of Oz. IRS in the major media is a Wizard of Oz. For decades, brainwashing you, along with Dorothy and friends, to be afraid of the Wizard of Oz based on deception. That's right. Your brainwashing was going on in America for over 100 years. So I don't blame you for that. I'm not blaming anybody for being brainwashed. We all were brainwashed. Okay? I thought Americans had to file income tax too, back 35 years ago. Being brainwashed. It's upon you to de-brainwash yourself. And if you do that, and now you can stop paying tribute to the it's really slavery IRS. Yes, you can do that. Keep your hard-earned money. I know most of you don't make much money. Most of you are poor on Social Security, older people or younger people working minimum wage, sub-minimum wage, slavery jobs. I was there too myself in my 20s. Keep your money. You need it. Inflation is 8% a year. They're lying when they say inflation is about maybe 4%. No. Postal rates, first class stamp, has gone up over the last 5 years, 6 years, about 8% a year. That is the real rate of inflation. Americans are in debt because they're paying tribute that they cannot afford to pay because they've been fooled and deceived. To pay part of your hard-earned labor that you need to keep that's yours. Now, if you want to do something about it, you can do it on your own. Or if you want a 100% guarantee, the option is available if you have the spirit of America's founding fathers. You want to hang together, one for all for one, like these great men and women behind them did as well. Okay? So in that case, you take a little portion of what you would have paid the IRS, put it into a Restore Freedom plan, like a Founding Fathers plan. You divorce a corrupt king of England who's no longer protecting your rights, but enslaving you. Just like the empire in Washington, D.C., they're not protecting you, they're enslaving you. Instead, you marry George Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Franklin, and the rest of the founding fathers of modern day area. People like yourself, you. You and people like you banding together. You're weak by yourself, okay? But together we have so much power because we outnumber them. We, the American people, you, the power comes from you. As long as we sleep, all our rights, watching football, baseball, entertainment, fun, party, drinking, hot dog, fishing, boating, hunting, whatever, playing, we're not paying attention. Dreaming away, they got us. But if you care about your rights, your freedom, your family, and want to do something about it to be free and have your hard-earned money, have America no longer not become a tyranny like it's becoming, we can still take America back. Yes. And right now, things are coming to a head. After the corrupt Biden years of open borders, censorship, corona lockdown mandates, okay, and so many to the list, right? All this stuff, LGBTQ, men pretending to be women in women's bathrooms, cutting off kids' parts, pretending that they're opposite sex that cannot be. Just read all that ridiculous stuff. And then now we got what? Your sons and your brothers, and some of your husbands, right now have already died in a war literally across the globe on behalf of a country less than 10 million people. Why are your sons dying for that country? Their interests. Why? I'm anti-Zionist Jew myself. Why? Because I have a conscience. I don't care what you're black, white, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a truthful, loving person, you're a truthful, loving person. If you're a criminal hater who believes, the other group, the other religion, the other nationality, they're the bad guys. We're the good guys. Treat it like a football game. If you have the mentality that, it's us versus like it's a football game, you have to take sides, then we have more wars and murder and enslavement. We got to stop taking sides. The only side is the side of God and truth and honesty and love. And the side of the satanic forces of lies, deception, ignorance, war, hatred, and fear. So, thank you for being here with me. I'm going to stop my rant and get your question, brothers and sisters, okay? And now, let's take the live questions first. We have someone calling from area code 601. We'll take his questions first. Then a 937 area code caller, followed by a 978 area code caller. So 601 area code caller, please give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Michelle.
And how did you hear about Freedom Law School, Michelle? And then your question?
On Redacted and several other talk shows in the Truth Movement.
Very good. And how may I help you?
I discovered you about several months ago, which is I almost feel like it's kind of too late in my situation. We have filed but we did not send payment for several years. And
Get close to the microphone. I can barely hear you. Get close to the microphone, please, Michelle. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Good. Just your best. Keep going.
Okay. By the time we filed, we know that that they deceived us into paying. But we got a business and we pay on that, and we sent an invoice. We just didn't send any payment. So we waited to get the offer and compromise letter and to state our case on that. But we didn't want to. We didn't want to call into them, or we put ourselves in a situation where they will try to browbeat us again. So I sent the documentation necessary that they requested, and also a letter stating why we had hardships, had a surgery, had lost a job, all the different reasons why those years we could not. And basically, they sent out.
Hold on, I'm not going to clarify what you got. So what happened on this, let me get this clear, Michelle. You and your husband, filed 1040 income tax confession forms, confessed on the 1040 that you owe the IRS money, but did not have the money to pay what you were deceived by your accountant, by your CPA to confess to owe the IRS. Since you couldn't pay what the accountant deceived you. Is that correct so far?
Well, we didn't have an accountant. We just kind of, my father-in-law was a former CPA. We just did it through TurboTax.
Okay. So he meant well, but he was deceived. He talked you into filing tax confession forms.
Right.
Now you are, how much you owe the IRS for what years right now? Well, let's start with that, Michelle. How much did you on those 1040 forms confess to the IRS money for what years?
Well, 20 to 23. And so 4 years.
How much you owe them all together?
20. Well, over 50. So, but most of that's fees and penalties.
Okay.
Because I didn't sign one name, and by they send it back to me, well, I didn't want to send it back in, but then my son was in college and could not get his student loan until they showed that. So.
Oh, my gosh. You should not have sent your son to slavery. Hold on, Michelle.
I know.
Do not have your students become slaves of the, because you cannot even bankrupt the student loans. They got those bachelor's degrees that are worthless. You cannot get a good job with the bachelor's degree.
I understand,
but I was back then. Fine.
Right, I know now. We've all been brainwashed.
No, I got
we all
you.
don't know.
All right, Michelle, your solution is simple. I know.
Else.
Michelle, hold on. I got right ahead of you 9 more people waiting to get the question answered. So I need to get to everybody, okay? I got like...
Okay, the situation that I'm in, I got a notice of determination, and my next step is, I guess it's the last letter as far as to file a petition to the U.S. tax court.
You got a notice of determination for your offer and compromise? Hold on. For your offer and compromise, is that what you mean?
Well, they gave me a figure that I couldn't pay, so I didn't respond to them.
Hold on. Michelle, hold on. You got to let me control the conversation, number one. You have to, otherwise I'll cut you off.
Okay,
Go next person, okay? You don't have this. I'm not here for a half hour on every individual, okay? I got to answer people's questions waiting, okay? So you need to answer my questions. You got to, I can help you. You need, first of all, a one-on-one personal consultation. You're going to mess, okay? But you do a paid private consultation with me or one of my people who know this stuff. I've trained them, can help you. But still, I want to help you a little bit on this, give you an idea, okay? Bottom line is this, okay?
Okay.
If you should go to our website and educate yourself, because you see, if you go to step 3 is one of the most favorite steps of the 7 steps I teach everybody. You got to realize the IRS operates on deception and bluff. Okay, the IRS is a broker agency,
and I have read there.
Yeah, but hold on.
Okay.
So no matter what, I would not want that offer and compromise to go through because it's bunk. Offer and compromise means even if it's accepted, you're gonna in 5 years, every year file and pay in full on time, whatever you confess under 1040 slavery for. So no, none of that. Don't do that. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. If you go to my website, you see step 3. IRS cannot keep up with filers who have confessed to all the IRS money like you. Look at this chart. 2010-11, the dark green-blue line, they had 3.7 million bank account and paycheck levies. Okay? By 2021, the number crashed to about only 300,000. Over 90% drop. So they're not going to come take your stuff right away. Don't worry. Don't sleep over that. Okay? You need to go educate yourself so you can sleep easy. Go to step 3 right away tonight to see this stuff, okay? And the IRS here's another report from the U.S. Treasury on auditors saying the IRS is too busy and incompetent to go after 10 for income tax non-filers. Why? The IRS claimed the IRS does not have enough money from Congress that was forced to focus on workers on taking calls from Americans like you who are deceived into filing 10 for income tax confession forms. But they cannot pay what they claimed to the IRS on their 10 for tax confession forms like you, Michelle. You are a class example. A friend I met, said, Paymont, I was on the phone for 2 hours to try to make a payment plan on the 1040 confession forms I filed for 3 years. I got hung up on. Then I had to call back another 45 minutes to have somebody just answer my call to make a payment plan to take my money. Can you imagine? You call and hey, take my money! And they won't answer your call. Okay? So don't worry, you're fine. You don't quit signing those 1040 confession forms, okay? And from this stuff, let it ride. Save. So, but that's all I can tell you right now, okay? Don't worry. Send for a private one-on-one consultation, not with me because I cost more. You take it with one of my people that, I've trained. It costs a lot less with them, okay, because I got to duplicate myself. And a lot less, and they'll help you. Just sleep easy. You're fine. Your situation's not terrible. It's not you are, $10 million or even $1 million. It's only over 50,000. It's not that huge. It's not tiny like 2,000, but it's not that huge. You'll be fine. Okay? Go to our website, and then you can call us also if you have questions about consultation. It's on our website. You want to get a consultation, go to our website, click on Get Help. Right there, and here's one. One of them. In your case, you need a consultation, private one-on-one consultation is what you need. Click on that order form, fill it up, send with cash to mail, and we'll get on there and help you with your situation that you got going on. Okay. So thanks for calling, Michelle. Okay. We got a lot more people to answer the questions. You're welcome. 937 area code caller, 978 area code caller. Then we got you are most welcome, Michelle. 347 area code caller. Then we got an 808 area code caller, a 669 area code caller, and then a 925 area code caller. I took a long time with Michelle because she had a big mess. I wanted to feel a little bit better to that. But the rest of you folks, try and make it a little bit quicker. But so there's more. We got more after 925 area code. We got area code 628 area code caller. And then we have another one from area code 478. All right, guys. I'm going to try to get to all of you, but please make it quick. First name of you, 937 area code caller. How you heard about field law school? And then your question, please.
Yes, I'm glad to be talking with you. Welcome back from your vacation. My name is Ralph. I'm from Ohio. My question is, I watched a
How did you hear about
video,
us, Ralph? Ralph, how did you hear about Freedom Law School?
well, many of the different podcasters that you've been on of late, plus Marjorie Taylor Greene and her show that I just watched, and I've watched a previous show that she did with you on that. So what I'd like to suggest, too, there is the #1 podcaster in the world, and you know who that is, and she is definitely of the belief that our government, because of Trump, and it might be because of Trump is so brash and bold, he's actually pulled the veil off of this government and exposed it as a tyranny that is out of control. It is not we have not been a nation of laws for a very long time. You can look at that through our foreign policies.
That's right.
Where we've invaded country after country for corporate gain, for our own corporations' benefit, so they can go in and
Ralph, we know all that, my brother. Get your question. I got 10. How many people behind? 10 people behind you.
Yeah, the question is, your whole cornerstone of your philosophy, it's not philosophy, but the truth is based on the fact that under U.S. Code Title 26 of income tax is that it spells out the definitions of the United States and then a definition of state. And it says those individuals that reside in the United States or state are the ones subject to the income tax. So they further define state and United States as the District of Columbia. Both definitions, state, United States, District of Columbia. Therefore, if you're a resident of the
So what's your question? You give me a class, Ralph. What is your question, brother? We don't need a class. I'm the teacher. What's your question, brother?
Yeah, is that the whole basis of the premise of why the people that live in the 50 states are not required to pay the federal income tax?
The basis is, I'll tell you what it is. You can see it on our website. The founding fathers were not idiots. They were freedom lovers. They took off the yoke of King of England slavery and created 13 independent countries or states, which later on got together and formed the agent government called the federal government and gave it certain specific powers, common needs of the countries, states of this union, common military, common foreign relations, common money, and 18 specific powers only. And they made direct taxes on American people of the states prohibited by the federal government. They prohibited that and only allowed it if it was divided up or apportioned among the states. And that was done in late 1700s, 1800s. They did that, on property and slaves. Okay? But the international bankers wanted to be able to have the federal government take people's money, bypass the states to pay the interest on the loans they're going to make to the federal government by fraud out of thin air. Okay, so the pretended 16th Amendment of the Constitution gave Congress new taxing powers to directly tax the people of 50 states when it did not do so according to the U.S. Supreme Court. In the case of Bushaber, as well as Stanton versus Baltic Mining Company. So, what they did, they wrote the law as applying to District of Columbia and her territories in 1913, after the 16th Amendment, when they wrote the first income tax law. So, when they did that at that time, okay, I'm going to show you on the screen that very first income tax law. You see the screen on the bottom on the left of this page, that the word state or United States, when used in this section, shall be construed to include any territory, Alaska, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and Philippine Islands. See, they knew they could not tax you. The people of the 48 sovereign states at the time, 50 now, directly. They couldn't do that. So they pretended that they passed the law, but in actuality, they wrote the law correctly as applying only to the District of Columbia and her territories, where the federal government was given unlimited power to do what it wants. Because D.C. and its territories were meant to be military installations to protect the states from England taking America back as its colonies. So it said, do whatever you want, federal government, in those military places. They never envisioned back in 1700s that people actually would live in D.C. and her territories. They never thought about it over 200 years later. Okay? So that the Constitution does give that power to the federal government. That's why you see on this brochure of our website, I talk about this issue right here in the case of Down versus Bidwell, the top left, okay, about this thing. So basically, today the definition of the United States, who is a U.S. citizen? The U.S. citizen is not the citizen of the 50 states. It's a citizen or resident of the District of Columbia. They say United States, and usually United States means the 50 states. But in tax law, it means District of Columbia. Now, in things like excise or privilege taxes, like oil tax, it does include the 50 states. But it does not include that when it comes to income taxes. When it comes to FICA, payroll taxes, United States includes only the 4 island U.S. territories of Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. Not even D.C. So that's the basis of it. And you can go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and see all that for yourself at freedomlawschool.org. You could give me the front page, please. Okay?
Yes. So the brochure that you've got on the screen now, is that which one is that one?
It is available for free. Put it on the screen for everybody. You can get it right here. Call us. Okay, I will mail it to you, no charge. Same content, restore freedom or fast track your success. On the back and inside they show you.
I've
downloaded
that one.
Uh-huh.
Right. I'm stepping through it. I've zeroed out my federal income tax withholding at my employer. Mm-hmm. Also sent the letter with the affidavit to the payroll department at my employer, since like you explained in the brochure. The portal, the online portal, does not give you the ability to send the affidavit in reference to the zeroing out your federal income tax. So I sent that to the payroll department. They received that, sent certified mail.
Okay.
And then I need to send a letter to both of my three federal representatives in Ohio, asking them where in the law.
One Ohio House member and 2 Ohio senators. Collectively, they call it congressman. Right. You got to do that. Correct. Good.
Right.
Good job. Keep going, Ralph.
Now
anything else?
Back to the where you talk about the United States citizen as defined, in Title 26.
Yes. What about it?
It says there's further. I think there's some further definitions. There's non-resident alien for Title 26 income tax. Hold
on, Ralph. I can't take too many questions for one person. I got to get other people's questions. If you want to stay on, I can bring you back at the end. Do you want to do that? Because let me get to other people's questions, and I'll come back to you, okay? Because I got to get other people waiting.
Okay. All right.
Okay? But listen, everything is on our website. Go to the 7 steps, okay? On the front page of our website, we tell you, go take the 7 steps. Easy 7 steps. Start the 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom. Click on that gold bar, and the step 1 is follow the law. These short videos, less than 10 minutes, show you the law. Just listen to them as you drive. Watch the road, listen as you drive. When you go work for lunch, dinner at home, now you can play it and actually read and see the videos for yourself. It's all there for free, brothers and sisters, at freedomlawschool.org, okay? Thank you, Ralph. If you want, I can come back to you. Yeah, okay? No problem. Let's go to the call from area code 978. All right, brother, you are live with Freedom Law School. Give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Paymon. My name is George. I'm from New Hampshire, and I've called in before. I heard about you on Redacted with Clayton Morris, and I have called in before regarding a question about the IRS and Palantir's data integration. That's not what my call is about today. I'll make it very quick for you. Mm-hmm. In the last 9 years, I have not filled out a 1040 form. However, in those last 10 years, and I work independently by clients pay me privately and such. But my question to you is, in the last 9-10 years that has been, I have had 2 or 3 part-time jobs. We're talking less than $10,000 a year, just very minimal hours, very minimal pay. And in those, of course, I had to fill out the W-9 forms, the employment forms and such. I know I'm going to make it sound like a broken record here because I know it's just the 1040 that you emphasize, but I want to make sure that I have no further steps that need to be taken in order to get, maybe a revocation of election, nothing like that. I've never heard you speak of one, but let me just make sure I'm crossing all my T's, dotting all my I's. Are there any further steps that I need to take in regards to those very small part-time incomes that I had collected in those years, even though I had not filled out a 1040 income form?
All you gotta do is go through 7 steps, okay? And step 3 is a common one people need to know about. The IRS gotta realize they're bluffing you. They want you to believe that if they got the W-2 or 1099, or you fill out the W-9 out of the sky and the 1099, the IRS will get you. IRS get you because they got those 1099 form from you from somebody, or W-2 from your employer. Baloney. Okay? You got to realize, okay? Here's a report. Okay, this report came out in 2007. The IRS is too busy, basically, and incompetent to go after 1040 form non-filers. There's 80 million or so non-filers. Another report that came out in 2020, okay, this one says this one says that high-income non-filers owing billions of dollars are not being worked by the IRS, okay? So you're fine. You just got to go through step 3 at freedomlawschool.org, listen to videos, we'll scroll down the page a little bit, read it, and you see, oh, wow, I did not know I was dealing with the Wizard of Oz, okay, with this scarecrow called the IRS if you don't file. If you confess on that 1040 form, you put a chain around your neck, give it to the IRS like the first caller, Michelle, realized she had done. So no more 1040 signing forms. Go stop income tax stealing, withholding by your company at freedomlawschool.org. We have it on the step 5, how to do that, okay? So you don't have to file to get some of that money back, some cheese crumb back. All right? George, you're good? That's it, my friend?
Yeah, no, I won't take any more of your time. Thank you again, Paymon.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you for your questions. 347 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, Paymon. My name is Blaine. I'm from New York. I've called you before.
My wife and I, Glenn? Say it again, please.
Blaine, B-L-A-I-N-E.
Thank you, Blaine. And you called before, you said. Got it.
Yeah, I called you.
Okay.
Yeah, about rarer retirement, but I'm calling about something else. My wife and I are retired, and we sent in our W-4P and W-4V forms back in March, and we checked off no withholding. We also, for the first time, did not file our federal income tax, but we filed state tax. My question is, I have an IRA. It's my own self-directed IRA. I'm 71. I'll be 72 next year. And I think when I'm 73, I have to start doing a required minimum distribution. Now, my question is if I take a distribution out and, I have capital gains, is there anything where I have to report that, tax on the gains? And, when I receive any distribution, when I get a check, I get it all, and I don't have to report any of the taxes.
Blaine, are you a citizen or resident of the District of Columbia?
I thought so. Yeah. No, I'm not.
You're not? Therefore, you owe no income tax on your wages, on your pension, on your retirement account, on your IRA, on capital gains. None of those, because District of Columbia is foreign to New York, as much as Egypt, France, and China are foreign, and you owe no income tax for your capital gains in those countries either. Take all the money out of your IRA if you want, all of it. Do whatever you want with it. Buy some gold, silver, or crypto, in my opinion. Bitcoin, gold, and silver. My favorite investments are those. Okay? We're getting ready for worse inflation and stagflation and a Great Depression. So I wouldn't put my money in the stock market or banks. All right? Anything else, Blaine?
Right. No, thank you. That's what I want to know. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. Be free. I appreciate you calling in, Blaine. Let's go to 808 area code in Hawaii. We're going out there, okay? All right, 808 area code caller. Give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then the question, please.
First name is Kai. Can you hear me? Paymon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first name is Kai.
What is it?
And you think Kai, K-H-A-I?
K-H-A-I, gotcha, huh?
And I first heard you, well, I called you before, but a long-time listener, but I pretty much saw your at the Fed, and that's when I text information to the phone number.
Okay. You called us before. That's okay. Hard to hear about us, Kai. What do you need? What's your question? I'm sorry. What's your question?
Yeah. My question. I did call you the phone number. I just spoke to your staff earlier today. I did send some paperwork in. I just want to make sure you got it by any chance.
Let's see. Some people send me paperwork. Your first name is Kai.
Yeah.
What state do you live in?
Yeah. North Carolina right now.
North Carolina. You blacked out your name completely. So I don't know, is that yours?
Yeah.
You don't know. I got two things. People from North Carolina send me stuff. You know, is that all from you?
Yeah. No. So mine is for tax year 2021, 2022.
I got from year 2021 some letters. Notice to file a tax return. Is that yours? And North Carolina Department of Revenue notice of individual income tax assessment. Are they both yours?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I see. Okay. Well, you want to at least don't black out your first name, so I know it's you.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I should block out just. Yeah.
Okay, so you got a letter from a request and return from you for your 2021, dated December 6, 2025. They claim that you made a bunch of money from these different places, and they want you to file a tax return. Okay, and there's one from 2022, same thing, and then 2022. I see. Then they issue a notice of individual income tax assessment, February 18th. 2026, okay, and in this form it says you owe them $2,400 and change dollars, and it said that let's see what it says. If you disagree with this notice, okay, you have 45 days. Yep, you have 45 days from the date of this notice to ask for a hearing. 45 days from February 18th. Well, that ended sometime in early April. Did you ask for a hearing?
No. I mailed them to request an extension for the deadline because I received the mail late. So I should mail that 2 days ago. So if I mailed, so I was just obviously waiting for them to receive it. But that's why I'm here trying to.
Here's the thing about state taxes. Okay, I got you. I know what you did. Look, here's the thing. They claim you owe them $2,400. Look, states. The problem with state taxes is this. Okay, it takes just as much to file a case for $2,000 than $2 million or $200 million. Legally, it's the same fight, same principle, and same procedures. It's not worth fighting something that's small. I'm afraid that's the case. There's no way I can physically one person handle all these small cases, and even then, they're going to rule against you. Unfortunately, the state North Carolina is one of the more aggressive states. Okay, I suggest you leave North Carolina if you can. I left California. People live in New York, Hawaii, New Jersey, Massachusetts. Leave this, communist states. But you can ask me, but eventually, I'm afraid they're going to probably eventually come after you, perhaps for the money, tax penalty interest. Okay. That's the sad thing about these aggressive states, even though they're not supposed to, but they do, and the amount, the net tax was $1,600, but they have penalty and interest and make it $2,400. So there's no easy answer for you. I wish I had. The good thing is you don't pay federal income tax, and that's the key thing. That's the big one, easier to handle, because IRS is not as competent as the states. They're in disarray, so I don't have an easy answer for you. I'm sorry.
No problem. I definitely understand. But here's my question. So under my state, the state for individual income tax, the final requirement is if the federal adjusted gross income exceeds X amount number. But since I haven't filed a federal tax return, my question is, how the state make you liable for a state tax even though you haven't filed a federal tax return, to get that gross number, gross income? Because
they just want your money. They don't care. They don't know. They don't care.
Okay.
They just want your money.
Okay.
The government's out of control.
Okay.
That's sad.
And second question, in the letter, the state, after this, go back for you requested a administrative hearing. I'm not well versed in the civil procedure aspect of it, but is the administrative hearing something as a tax? Is it like is it equivalent to a tax code or it's not a tax code? I'm just trying to understand.
They give you a hearing much simpler than U.S. tax court. They give you a hearing with the agency, Department of Revenue, and then you can appeal like a tax court type of thing. That's what they do in North Carolina.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that's pretty much it. I appreciate it, Payman.
You're welcome. You can delay it, challenge them, but at the end, these guys don't care about the law. Okay, if in time, I'll put some better material on each of the states that have a state income tax claim, how you may want to challenge them on perhaps, but right now I just don't have the time to do that as much as I wish I could do that. Okay, let's see who we have left. We have a 669 area code caller who hung up. He's no longer there. We have a 925 area code caller. He's here. 628-478. And then we have a 601 area code caller who joined us, followed by a 980 area code caller. All right. So, let's see, I'm sorry, no, where's that at? 925 area code caller. You're live, my friend. Give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Yeah, hello. This is Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes. What's your name?
Jim, calling from Northern California, and I first saw your show on Stu Peters about a year and a half ago.
How may I help you?
Well, I got a question for you. Well, to start with, based primarily on watching your show for over a year. Last year was my first year not filing, and I also did not file again this year. As a result, about 30 minutes ago, I went up my mailbox, and I received something entitled IRS Notice CP59. Oddly, it was dated yesterday. It somehow made it here from Austin, Texas overnight. And it says you need to file and pay your 2024 Form 1040 tax return. My question is, at the bottom they say if we don't hear from you, you may be subject to, if you received interest and dividend income and you don't file, we can notify your payers to withhold a percentage of the dividends and interest. Are they able to access, say, my retirement account that I have with Schwab or Morgan Stanley and pull out any earnings from there?
Hold on. Jim, what you got is like what this guy got. I have one in front of you. Somebody else from Idaho sent it to me. You got a dumb computer-generated letter from the It's Really Slavery. You see a vulture on the top right? Yeah, that's meant to scare you. They meant you to think, somebody's watching me. Oh, someone's watching, Jim. There's Robert, Joe, David, Charlie. Someone's watching. If you don't file a tax form, Jim, they're going to do all this stuff to you. Be scared. Scared? Are you scared, Jim, yet? It's a dumb, stupid, garbage computer-generated letter. Don't even bother putting a phony name and signature on it. It means nothing. You can just trash can that. Okay? And that's how they get you to be slave and scared. Because they know it works. You got to go to freedomlawschool.org and watch step 3, one of the most popular steps you got to go. Realize IRS's bluff. Okay? It is so important you guys see IRS's bluff for yourself because they really are bluff. Okay? So I'm not repeating it. I keep saying it. IRS is a bluff. Okay? If you don't file, they will leave over 99% of you alone. Okay? That's right, they will. Over 99% will be left alone. Okay, if you don't file 10 for income tax confession forms, okay? If they want to come after you, they have to send you a notice of deficiency, an official tax proposal, and give you a chance to go to tax court and get a full-blown trial. That's right, a full-blown trial if you don't confess that you owe the IRS money on the 1040 confession form. And there's 80 million non-filers. That's right, 80 million Americans who don't file every year. That's right. So there's no way they can have less than 31 judges. They have only 16 regular judges. The other one are special judges and, senior judges. They're going to give a trial of all these non-filers. They can't. They don't. So don't be scared. IRS is, they're doing this because I've been waking Americans up to IRS as a bluff. So what they do, they bluffed you some more with more of these scare letters. So that the guy from Idaho, you send me another one of these letters just like Jim did. Okay? You need to file and pay your 2024 1040 tax return. Because they know you'll be scared. A percentage of you. And if it's 10% of you get scared or 1%, better than nothing. It's cheap. Cheap, dumb computer letter. You just sign a confession form on your own and easy money for the IRS. So no, you're good, Jim. You're going to get, they send 2 or 3 of these letters. Because you're going to get more. You're going to say, maybe this one will scare him. Maybe the next one will scare him. We don't want him to think we forgot about him. We want Jim to think we're catching on to you, buddy. You ain't getting away so easy. We're watching you, Jim. We're watching you, Jim. You're not going to get away. Get scared. We're not giving up on you, Jim. You got it? File that confession form. 1040 form. Call us at the number so we can scare you. We can take your stuff. Bank account, paycheck, everything you got. Got it, Jim? Any other questions?
All right. Yeah, so if I become one of your contributors at the 30% rate, this is something, if I do get a notice of deficiency and it does go to trial, what would be your role in supporting me in that?
You a Restore Freedom Plan member? My friend, you can call us in the daytime, get unlimited consultation. You don't have to call here. Look, go to our website, you see, go read the steps 6, Restore Freedom Plan, okay? What it is,
okay.
Remember, you get 100% guarantee. You stop filing income tax with Freedom Law School as long as you remain a member of the Restore Freedom Plan. Will prevent the IRS from levying your money, or Freedom Law School will reimburse you and you will not go to prison. So, in more detail, what it gives you all of these benefits. You get, number one, your money does not go to the criminals in D.C. You drain the swamp. Number 2, no tax prison. You get unlimited consultations and custom responses to IRS letters. If attorney is necessary, which is rare, but if it is necessary, we will pay all that. That's right. The legal work is done. Tax court, okay, collection of due process hearing, any and all this stuff. We take care of that at no charge. And even at the end, if you were to lose, guess what? We will reimburse you in full, whether it's 10,000, 10 million, or more. Whatever they may take from you, we'll reimburse you from our funds, from our students' Restore Freedom Plan Fund, and make you whole so you have no risk, Jim. And if you tell other people about us, you can get paid. Half of someone's first year membership goes to someone like you by sharing this with other friends, family members, acquaintances. It's a total win-win, okay? To help them be free, and you make extra money for helping America become free at the same time. All right, Jim?
Sounds good. I've reviewed the 7 steps last year, but I haven't gone through the steps, the sending a letter, but I'll make sure and do that this month.
Yeah. Do that, brother. You're going to feel a lot more confident, Jim. So thanks for calling, brother. Thank you for taking part with us.
You bet. Thanks for the time, Pam.
To restoring America to freedom, brother. I appreciate you, Jim. Okay, let's go to 628. Bye-bye, my friend. 628 area code caller. Give me your first name, how you heard about Film Law School, and then your question, please.
Yes. Good evening, Payman. My name is Bonnie, and I'm in California. And I heard about you. I've listened to your interviews with Marjorie Taylor Greene and on Redacted, and also with Matt Gaetz.
Very good. Wow. You're just freedom, aren't you, huh? Okay. Great. You followed us here. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Which one was the first one, by the way, you saw? Which one was the first one? I'm curious. You saw first.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Which one was the first one you heard us at?
I heard, I think, Redacted.
Okay. Very good, Bonnie. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So a little bit of background is that, I've been a wage to earner for over 25 years, and I've been filing my tax returns all these years, but I stopped filing in 2023. And what happened was I got these CP-59s and CP-518s from the IRS telling me that I needed to file. And each time I responded to them saying that I'm not subject to filing federal income taxes. And then, so this has been just going on. I haven't received any kind of a demand letter, but recently, about 2 weeks ago, I got a demand letter from California saying that I had not filed my 2023 tax return. And so that is, they gave me a deadline of April 29th, and, it's basically a threatening letter, and I just feel very anxious about it. So I know that in previous podcasts you have mentioned that because California is so aggressive that you have suggested that just go ahead and pay California, but do not pay the federal.
Right. Especially for wage earners like you. If you file right now, they will not add all the penalty that others would add for you, They're so aggressive and are well organized, okay? So, yeah, that might be the better way for you unless you get out of California, which I recommend you do. I did.
Right.
So
right now, the demand letter is for 2023. So should I wait for them to, because as soon as I file my 2023, they will write back saying they need to see my 2024 and 2025.
I know. That's the problem. So that's why I tell them, look, there's no way I can handle all the problems of people with California. There's no way. I just can't handle everybody. Yeah. It's just not possible. So that's why, as a matter of policy, I say, look, you wage earner, sorry, you have to, until you escape that communist Republic of California. Golden State is dead. It's a communist state now, okay? Sorry, I was in California in 77. It was a golden state back in the 70s. Now it's not, okay? Unless you decide to leave that place, let them be for the communists. They voted communism. They wanted communism. They got communism. Let them have it, okay? Come to another free state, but no state income tax. Tennessee, Texas, Florida, you have options available. But if you wage earner, you just file. Right. And so otherwise, they add penalties and they come take your bank account or 25% of your paycheck.
Right. Okay, so then once I do my 2023, shall I just wait for them to send another demand letter for 2024 and then 2025?
It's up to you. The sooner you file it, the less penalty and interest gets added. That's all. Might as well do them at the same time.
My concern is that for 2024, it's going to be big because I took out some money from my retirement account to buy a house. And so even if I am owed, I would owe only California and not federal?
Yes, you don't file for federal, but for California, you might want to do that. You bought a house in California, huh? Okay. All right. I would sell it and move out.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I would do. Then, you take your money out right now when the market is still not going down. There's a Great Depression coming. A Great Depression is coming like 2008. I'm telling you all right now, you have real estate. You be the smart one, sell it, let some other sucker buy it from you. This is caused by phony, privately owned Federal Reserve money banking system. And people that know about it, hear about programs like this, will not buy at the top of the market. You sell at the top of the market. You made a mistake. You bought at the top of the market. You hire money, guess what? Fix your mistake. Sell it now. Take your money. And why are you still living in California? Tell me that, Bonnie.
Because I'm still working, Payman.
What do you do for a living that you cannot do in another state like Florida, Texas, or Tennessee? Well, there's more jobs over there than that communist California. What do you do?
Well, I'm planning to retire. I'm 75 years old, and I'm hoping, I will just retire at the end of the year. And
okay, maybe sell your house, retire in a year, at 75, move out of California. Perfect timing. Problem solved. And you don't have to file with FTM either. You have nothing in California for them to take. All right, you have nothing in California to take. Take everything with you. They can pound sand all they want. That's your choice, of course. You want to do that or not?
Yeah.
All right.
So you're saying just file California and forget about the 1040 for the federal.
Yes, but because you live in California, if you leave, you can don't worry about California either if you don't want to, because they cannot come after you your money if you have nothing in California. America is not a country. We are not a country.
Right.
We are 50 countries, like France, Germany, Italy, and Europe are countries. So is California, Nevada, Texas, Florida are countries. Leave the country, California communists. Come to another state and take your money with you, and there's nothing California can do to take your money. In that case, you don't need to confess to or the communist California anything either if you don't want to. Your choice. You want to file pay or not file pay? Either way works if you leave. If you're going to stay there, file and pay.
Right,
okay?
Right. Okay, Payman. Thank you so much for what you're doing to educate all of us. I really, really appreciate you.
You're welcome. You may want to do it for a private 1-month consultation also. We can go over this stuff in more detail because you had a lot going on.
Okay.
Okay, so I recommend a private 1-month consultation because you got the house IRS situation. I don't want to rush you off like this, but you need to discuss this in more detail so we can help you out, okay? All right, Bonnie, thank you for calling.
All right.
We have several callers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. 478 area code caller. Then we have 601 area code caller. 980 area code caller. Then we have 669 area code caller added. And we have added area code 917 caller as well. 601 area code, 478 area code caller. Give me your first name. How you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hello, this is David. I am calling from Georgia, and I saw you on the MTG show, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was my representative. So how about that?
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So here's my question: Is a retired federal employee who is receiving a federal pension necessarily required to pay income tax for the rest of his life?
No. The only federal workers that have to file income tax are federal workers that work in the District of Criminals, District of Columbia. You don't work there, so therefore you're not required to file income tax. Simple.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I thought, okay. If I don't work there, I'm not required. Okay, excellent. And just to clarify, if I have traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and I want to bust the rules because I claim I'm no longer a taxpayer, I can do it and use all my money.
You're not busting any rules. You are following the rules and laws correctly. You don't owe any money to government of China, France, Egypt, or the District of Columbia. They're all foreign to the country of Georgia. Okay?
Okay. Okay. All right. Good. Love it. Thank you very much for the clarification. You're making me sleep well at night tonight.
I'm so glad to hear
Thanks a lot.
that, my friend. Thank you for calling. We go now to the 601 area code caller. Please give me your first name. How I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hello, Baymon. My name is Paul. I'm from Mississippi, and heard about you on YouTube.
Very well, and how may I help you?
I have independent contractor, self-employed. Curious about. I've got several customers that are, they're builders or whatnot, but at the end of the year, they 1099, and I'm curious about those unanswered 1099s if I don't file.
Well, 99% plus, you will be left alone. All these answers you guys are looking for is available on our website at freedomlawschool.org. And again, I'll come back to step 3. Realize the IRS operates on deception and bluff. The Wizard of Oz is out there working, keeping you slaves, afraid because you've all been brainwashed all your life to believe the IRS is a big monster that will eat you alive because they had that 1099 or W-2 from employer or third party to get you with. But the reality is the IRS does not use those, okay? Here's a report came out in 2017 from the U.S. Treasury auditors that basically says IRS is too busy and incompetent to go after 1040 income tax form non-filers. Wow. Okay? And you see, so they're so busy, they make that installment request arrangements, IA, or customer-driven inventory. You call them to make a payment plan. That must be work. They must answer your call to take your money. Compared to discretionary activity, optional, of coming after non-filers. Okay? So they leave non-filers alone. It does not matter that a third party sent a 1099 or W-2 form to the IRS about you. Here's that report. Okay, that shows in 2017, IRS management decided to leave the non-filers alone. Okay, the chart on the right shows the crash of sending any letters after non-filers that they did. So go there. You are good, Paul. Any other questions, my friend?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I'm really not worried or concerned about me. What I'm more concerned with is, would they go back on that organization or like those contractors and send them a letter, say, hey, don't do business with Paul because he didn't respond to your 1090?
No. They have no such authority. Got it? Okay. That IRS of Joseph Stalin that existed from 1950s up to 2010 max died. The IRS is dead, just like Joseph Stalin died in 1953. And then for 1953, there was no opposition already in Soviet Union. He murdered everybody by the millions. From 1917 to 53, Stalin and Lenin. There was nobody more to kill. Everyone was a slave. Then in 85, Gorbachev comes to power, trying to fix and improve communism, but couldn't do it. The whole system collapse from within. That's exactly what's going on right now in the IRS. The collapse got expedited in 2010. 11. It was been going on for a while before that. I saw in the 2000 years, IRS was already getting weaker. Okay, and so by the time you got to end of 2000 years, 8 and 9, the Great Depression, IRS, I noticed the weaknesses of the IRS. In 11, 12, it exacerbated. Now 2026, they're a dead letter. What keeps them going is you Americans. Many of you still believe the government works for you. Yes, for your benefit that you think. Many people still do. But more of you are recognizing Democrat, Republican, they both are run by who? Epstein gang billionaires. They control both parties. Right? None of them being prosecuted. Democrat, Republican, they cover up for them. They're the real owners of the government. Right? So, 2, income tax withholding from your paycheck. But we can stop that legally. Without that withholding, there's no need for you to file a 1040 confession form. They steal your cheese, and you have to file a 1040 to get some of that cheese crumbs back. No. Keep your cheese. It is your money to begin with. For free, available on our website, freedomlawschool.org. I'll go to the front page on the right, okay? And you go there, and you see, oh, hold on, what's going on here? Here we go. Yeah, under third item on the right is free yourself from tax withholding. Just click on that. There it is. I can stop income tax withholding from your paycheck. Okay? Do that. And then don't file. And the third thing is they have you believe in IRS's monster who will eat you alive. That's what they want you to believe the IRS is, but it's not that. Let me say the cartoon. I love cartoons. Can I tell you the picture of what's really going on here? The IRS, in truth, is really this lizard. If you don't file. If you file, you feed that little lizard, becomes a monster to eat you alive because you filed against yourself a confession form, give it to the IRS. Don't feed them your 1040 income tax confession form. Don't make that lizard that's toothless and fireless powerful. It's your own signature on the 1040 form that does it to you. All right? Very good, Paul. That's it. You're good, my friend, right? Any other questions? You good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for calling.
That's it, sir.
You're welcome. You have no withholding problem. You're good. You're good to go. Okay? Go home and be merry and be happy with your family. Let's go 9808 with caller. Please give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School. And your question, please.
Hello, Mom. My name is John.
All right, John. And how did you hear about Freedom Law School?
I hope you can hear me clearly. I'm in the car in the garage.
You're fine.
But
sound good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard your Marjorie Taylor Greene interview. And I received my income from a partnership so I receive a K-1 every year, and I receive a 1099 from my stock portfolio. So I don't know exactly if you can help me or not, but
sure can help you. What's your question?
Should I? I mean, can I? I mean, should I? Or I'm now responsible for filing a federal and a state tax, or I don't mind paying state, to be honest with you, because it helps the community. But I don't know. That's my question.
First of all, you are not required by law to file and pay federal income tax. Have you verified that for yourself on our website, freedomlawschool.org yet?
No, I have not. I'll tell you what my situation is. I have a CPA, obviously, but he or she, they send me a K-1, and then and the 1099, and it tells me how much I made. But so I'm trying to figure out how to handle this.
It's very simple, brother.
I'm trying to figure out how to handle it.
John, is simple. Those are false forms that were sent to the IRS about you. Your partnership is not a District of Columbia partnership. Is it? Where is your partnership located at? What state?
No, I'm in North Carolina. I heard you say on a few other things that North Carolina is not too good, but I'm in North Carolina.
Right. So it's not a District of Columbia partnership. So they should not have 1099 you, but they did. Also, the 1099 form, okay, it's for people doing federal government work in Washington, D.C., or investment or real estate income from within Washington, D.C. Do you have any of those in Washington, D.C. or not?
No.
Okay, then.
No.
That
no,
1099 was false when it sent out to the IRS about you. Okay? So you could not force that third party or your partner's accountant CPA who said that false form about you to the IRS. But that does not mean that you owe income tax to the IRS, because you don't. So you can just ignore it. Most everybody out there, John, somebody sent a false information return to the IRS saying they gave them taxable income on the W-2 form for employees, on a 1099 form for independent contractors like Paul or last caller, okay, or investment income or bank interest, things like that. Or for partnership income of business of some sort, they give you a 1099 K1. All that is false. They don't apply to you. But the bottom line is IRS does not use that information against you if you are a non-filer. They use them sometimes against filers who file a 1040 confession form under oath. They swear under oath they have all the taxable income listed, but they miss some W-2, 1099, or K-1s. But if you don't file anything at all with the IRS leaves you alone. There's about 80 million non-filers you'll be joining, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I believe that. And caveat, my CPA filed a, what do you call it, extension. Is that going to be a problem?
She filed a what? Extension? Oh, no, extensions are wonderful. They're good. So that gives you time to investigate everything. And, and do not file at all. By the time October 15 comes around, you have time to verify for yourself.
I think my partner, one of my partners is not filing, but without even knowing you. But I'm going to try to do it myself. But we'll see.
Well, good for him. Yeah. Tell him about Freedom Law School. Tell him he did a good thing on his own without realizing it. And he's okay.
Like, fuck him. Hopefully, sorry, go ahead.
And he's not in prison or his bank account being raided by the IRS, has it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Very good.
Not at all.
Follow your partner.
All right, thank you, brother. Take care, man.
Welcome,
I appreciate you taking my call.
You're welcome, my friend. Thanks for calling, John. Bye. Let's go to the 669 area caller. You're live with Freedom Law School. Give me your first name. You heard about us, and then your let's see. I took 669. Yeah, and how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Hello, Pamon. Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Dylan, and I heard about you from David Rodriguez of the Santa Cruz Voluntarists.
Oh, yeah. Good friend of mine. Good Patriots. Very good. Very good, my friend. Say, David, I said hello. So what's going on, Dylan? What's on your mind?
So for years, I haven't received anything from the IRS, but recently I received a letter that I've scanned and emailed to your office, and somebody on your staff printed out the attachment and placed it on your desk. Have you received it?
Oh, I got a lot of letters from you. Are you from Salmon, Idaho? Where are you from?
Yep, Salmon, Idaho.
Yep, I covered your letter already. Somebody called earlier.
Excellent.
Your letter's one of those typical dumb computer-generated letters designed to scare you. Be afraid. Irish caught up with you. You better file a confession form. Others will get you. Ignore it's trash can. Okay? That's all designed to just scare you. You're good. You're good to go. Because they cannot give you a chance at a trial in tax court by issuing an official notice of deficiency, because you can go to court and they have only under 30 real judges there. So you're fine. You're good. Okay?
Okay, so my question here, though, is it says at the top, you need to file and pay your 2024 Form 1040 tax return. My question is, who are they to say you need to? What right do they have to use that verbiage?
It's called free speech. They can have their opinion. You can ignore them. Your neighbor can says to you, you need to pay me $100,000. Can you put him in jail for that? No, they can say that. They can say that. No big deal. Okay, any other questions?
Nope, that does it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, my friend. Thanks for calling, Dylan. We have 3 callers left from area code 917, area code 541, and then from area code 973. Okay, 917 area code caller, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you got my number wrong, so I didn't recognize what number you was talking about. My name is Dave. I'm from New York, and I heard about you from YouTube, and I've been following you for some quite time now, and I'm very interested in doing the process. But however, my situation is I am retired, and how would I get the IRS to stop taking out taxes out of my check, and also from New York? And another thing is I also have a brokerage account, which I'm getting at least maybe $30,000-$40,000 out of per year. Are they going to come after that for me for dividends and capital gains?
All right. Dave, how old are you, and how much you make a month, and why are you still living in New York still?
Well, I'm 56 right now. And I'm retired, and I'm still living in New York because this is where I retired at, and this is I haven't found anywhere to be comfortable at yet. Put it that way.
You at age 56 and retired already?
Yeah.
Good for you. How much you make a month right now?
Maybe about $12,000.
Okay. And do you realize I'm 63 years old? I'm still working. One, you're able-bodied still. Number two, with $12,000 a month, you can move to Florida or Tennessee, live like a king. Literally, live like a king.
Right.
With $12,000 a month. Why are you living in that squalor New York City area, you know, you can shake your hands with neighbor out the window, okay? We got gangs and graffiti homeless all over the place. Why is he living in that hellhole? You're so smart to call my program.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. Leave. And you won't have these New York problems. As far as your pension, you can stop it with a W-4P. You can, the Form W-4P is for pension. You can fill it out. It allows you to stop withholding on your pension. Okay?
Okay.
It's very
all
easy.
Right.
W-4P form. Yes.
Right. I'm
I have it on my screen, but I have it on my screen right now. W-4P form. Okay. You can fill it out.
Okay.
And then if you go to the bottom of that thing, I think there's a pair that says no withholding. Look at that. Just below step 5,
Oh,
it says,
okay.
I request that no
All right, good enough.
withholding be held from my payments. You can just fill it out. There's a box for that. That's all you got to do.
Good enough. All right.
All right? And then take all your investments out of New York. Get out of the stock market. Get out of the bond market. What are your money invested in? Huh?
Good.
What are your money invested in?
Oh, really? Well, I was doing it as a business thing, so I can reduce my taxes. That's initially why I got into it.
What business?
So I'm just trying to find out if I just stop paying taxes, will they start coming to me after capital gains and dividends?
You don't own none of that stuff because you're not from District of Columbia, are you?
No.
Okay, then you don't own income tax
So
at all.
I'm just trying to find out if that makes a difference. If I'm getting capital gains and dividends.
Look, if you're from the country of District of Columbia, you pay income tax, capital gains tax. Okay? You're not from country of District of Columbia or France, China, or Egypt.
Right.
You're from New York, the country of New York. And New York follows federal law, by the way. Okay, no, you don't owe no money to the federal government, capital gains or otherwise, or pension, period. Okay?
Okay. So will that even have an impact on, because I'm less than 59 and a half, will that have any impact if I take any money out of my 457 account, which is similar to a 401k in an IRA?
If you have a retirement account rolled over into a self-controlled IRA, okay? Self-directed IRA, okay? Okay.
Self-directed. Correct.
Yeah, self-directed. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So you gotta do that first.
Right. And I have it with Fidelity, and actually, Fidelity, they gives you an option to have tax withhold or not. So I've did in the past years, I have done certain withdrawals without having any tax taken out of there. Actually, I just did one a few months ago.
Fidelity alone. Leave the big banks and corporation in the system. Correct. Mega corporations alone. They are your enemy.
Really?
Yeah, they're your enemy. They're
Wow.
doing business with enemy. They work for them. Okay, go to a small company. Okay, so no, you can. I just looked up on. You can roll a one of these self-directed IRA into a self-directed IRA, and then you can do with it what you want from there. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So if
Well,
you
I
become
guess,
a Restore Freedom Plan member, I can refer you to somebody who can help you with the process of taking your money out of there. And you better get everything liquidated now, stocks, bonds, other investments, before the crash happens. Okay, I recommend. I was a financial planner in my early 20s.
Right.
Yes, back in my early 20s. I'm 63 now. I was a financial planner. I predicted all this Great Depression. It's predictable. Take Economics 101 like I did. It's all they show you. Okay? So get out of your
Right,
investments
right.
because American economy is in very bad shape. Okay? They're just printing money to cover it
Right.
up. Okay? All right, Dave?
Okay. All right.
All right, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a
All right,
great
sir.
evening, David. We're going to go now to the 541 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Yeah, this is Steve from Oregon. And I saw your interview. Well, now you have two interviews I've seen with Marjorie Taylor Greene there. The one you just published with Joe Banister, my hero. So my question, I heard you say
Who else
that
besides Marjorie
federal
Taylor Greene you saw
workers-
me at? Who else besides MTG you saw me at? Besides her?
No, I saw you on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then I saw the Marjorie Taylor Greene that you just showed.
Okay, gotcha. A Banister.
With
You said
with
both
Joe
of us.
Banister.
Got it.
Tonight's
Okay, got it.
video.
Okay. Very good, my friend. How may I help you, Pete?
So I heard you say that federal workers who are working in Washington, D.C. are the only ones that really have to pay. So that would not include any postal workers, right?
Correct.
That are working outside of D.C.
Correct.
What about the federal retirement annuity they get? Is that taxable?
No.
Not because it came from their
No.
labor outside of D.C.?
Only federal workers that work in D.C. have to pay federal income tax.
Period. Okay, that's good to know. Now, me and my wife, we haven't filed since 2017, but we're getting it back on it. And we got a notice of deficiency recently.
From the IRS or state of Oregon?
From the federal.
Okay, what's the date of it? And the amount and years?
It was just for 2019, just the 1 year against my wife. And so we're wondering how we handle that. What's the best way to handle that? Is it possible for us to join the program right now? And now that even though we're already getting attacked, you probably don't want us now.
No. We'll take you. You can join, but not for the pre-existing problem of your 2018. Because the Restore Freedom Plan has an annual membership. Every year, you choose, rather than paying the swamp criminals in D.C., the Epstein billionaire gang and their agents, the corrupt King of England, basically, you fund George Washington and company, people like yourself, in a pool of funds. 30% of what you would have otherwise paid the IRS. So if normally you pay the IRS $10,000, you don't. Of that $10,000, you keep $7,000, and $3,000 of it you put in the Restore Freedom Plan. Now you're protected. You do that every single year. Divorce the king, join George Washington Company every single year. Right? So we can cover you, but not for 2019. We can help you with that year. There'll be an extra charge for that, but we can help you with that. Any other questions?
That's understandable. So, what kind of help can you give us? What for 2019? That is the NOD there.
I have to look at what you got without paperwork. I can give you a more exact answer. What you got, what the options are, what could we do for you? So send in for a private consultation or join Restore Freedom Plan first. We'll look at this pre-existing problem for 2019 of your wife and have a private discussion about what it is and what options are make the most sense for you.
Right. Okay. One last question. If I paid in to Social Security most of my life, and am I allowed to take that if I'm not filing? And is it taxable? Are they going to steal all my money out of there?
You have no money.
What do you think?
In Social Security. No one has any money in Social Security. What was ripped out of your paycheck all your life was stolen and spent right away down the federal rat hole of corruption and criminality, spent way back decades ago.
Yeah.
They can tomorrow technically give you nothing if they wanted to tomorrow. Congress has that power, okay? So you don't owe any money on a Social Security anyways. You're fine. Don't even worry about it. You can take money if you want from Social Security. I don't recommend people to go take money from the government, but I understand why you would, because they deceived you to take money out of your paycheck all these decades. Now you want to get some of that money back. I understand that sentiment, but no, you can.
Well, it's enough to live off of. I could retire off of it.
Yeah, well, it can help you. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that if you want to, but yeah, you don't income tax on that money.
But I still wouldn't have to pay income tax on it?
No.
That's great to know. But they might still attack me for it, like they do randomly, apparently.
Well, listen, I tell people truthfully, better than 99% of the time, they leave non-filers alone. Your wife is one of those less than 1% who did get a notice deficiency. The other guys that called me, they got nothing at all, or they got those letters, the truthless letters. Okay, and only your wife got the letter, not you. You haven't filed since 2017. You guys haven't filed a 1044 for like 8 years, and they didn't come after you at all. And for your wife only for 2019, you said, right?
Well, it wasn't. No, well, they send us a lot of those letters. You know, we realize they're all phony. All those other ones, we answer them with a request for a 6203 assessment, and we never hear back from them usually.
That's why they came after you. You shouldn't have done that, brother. Why you egg them on? You just better off ignoring them. When you respond to those truthless letters, you're saying, "Hi, hello, here I am. I'm requesting your attention, please. I'm free of your power. Leave me alone." And they say, "Oh, you insist on getting attention? I'll give you attention, but not the kind that you want, Peter. I'm going to give you the bad attention. Oh, you want those patriots? You want those freedom lovers? You think you're free? We'll come after you and mess with you. You poke the bear by writing back to them." That's what they said to your wife, most likely. Okay, so you learn that lesson. Ignore those dumb computer-generated letters. There's no higher intelligent life exists at the IRS. Okay, for you to argue about those dumb letters. So whoever told you to challenge them misled you. And you thought the government IRS was like your Uncle Tommy or Aunt Millie. And Aunt Millie or Uncle Tommy writes you write him back. "Hello, Uncle. Hello, Auntie. How are you? Nice to hear from you. Let's have a civil, truthful, kind conversation." That's what you're led to believe. It's your government. You see, but it's not your government anymore. It's a government of Epstein billionaires.
Yep.
See, you were too naive to realize, I'm not dealing with Uncle Charlie or Aunt Millie. I'm dealing with a bunch of crooks and criminals and thieves and liars. Okay, so stop writing them, and you should be fine from here forward. But we'll take a look at your 2019 problem, see what your options are. All right, Peter. Anything else?
I think that covers it. He basically said we could join, and what year would we become eligible for help on? Just the most recent year?
No, you can join for 2020. 2020. I think 21 or 22 forward. You can do that. Each year has a separate membership. You join for 2025 first, your current year, and then you go back to 24, 23. You can go back join for the previous years if you want to. All right, Peter. Anything else?
No, that sounds great. Thank you for the information.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for calling. Let's see, we have a 973 area code caller, followed by somebody else from area code 909. 973 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hello?
Yes?
I heard the big. Hi, Peyton. Thank you for leading the good fight. My name is Taras. I'm calling from New Jersey. I'm not sure how well you can hear me and understand.
Your name is Taras from New Jersey. I got that. How did you hear about us, Taras?
Oh, I heard a lot about you from different sources, YouTube and interviews and podcasts. Long story short, I'm an immigrant from Ukraine. I've been here for an extensive period of time, and I've been looking for ways to technically address the issue with income tax. So thank you for speaking out on the Social Security point. I am a self-employed LLC worker, sort of. I have a small business which I run myself. I put my wife as the owner of the business. I'm filing as an S corporation, and I had to put myself as a W-2 employee. So, with that said, how would the whole situation transition into not paying federal income tax if the 1040 needs to be signed for the accountant to process my taxes?
You can fire the accountant. You don't need him. You don't need to file anything with the S Corp, and you can stop making yourself a W-2 employee to steal money out of your paycheck to send the IRS. You can stop all those games. You don't need them. Okay? Just a regular corporation doesn't file, you don't pay, you'll be just fine. That's all you got to do. Simple.
You're saying having the LLC and not pay anything?
Yes.
That's an interesting perspective. Another question, how does one get a mortgage to buy a house in that situation? Because most of the time when you're applying for mortgage, they're requesting your income, meaning either W-2 or the tax returns from previous years, just to see that you're making money, making payments, or in my case, for the apartment that we currently own, they needed 3 years worth of income tax just to give us the loan amount.
On our frequently asked questions section FAQ, we have a question number 4, commonly asked question, a video on how do I buy a home without a tax returns. Okay. There are mortgage brokers who do not need to see tax returns, and there are absolutely ones that are 100% legitimate. Okay. So no, most banks. Yes, and mortgage loan agents, they want a tax return, but you don't need one necessarily, okay? You can buy a home without 10 for income tax confession forms. For more information, watch that video. About 20 minutes, I explain things to you in more detail there. All right, anything else?
Sorry about that. I mean, I haven't had a lot of time to go into it deeply, but I appreciate the answer.
You can call our office, guys, everybody, at 813-444-4800. We'll answer your questions for free also and guide you to the information answers on our website, 813-444-4800. Call during the daytime, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Peyton.
My pleasure. We have one more caller left, area code 909. But before we get to him, if you have a question, call right now, area code 424-552-1299, and get on the list. Push 1 on your telephone keypad. Call 424-552-1299 and press 1 on your telephone keypad if you have a question. 909 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
How you doing? My name is Philip. I heard about you from the Jimmy Dore show, and I am very interested in the process of how do I begin the withholding from my employer, and how does that go into effect as far as me getting my money back, as far as because at a year-to-date tax it would be $12,000 per se, and I submit I file my income tax and I barely get back maybe $1,800 of it. So my other question would be, do I get the $10,000 back, and if so, how does it come back to me?
What you need to do is to go to our website, okay, and go under right on the top right center of our website, under free yourself from tax withholding, okay, and you click on that.
Yes, sir.
and there's a video there and specific instructions and sample fill-out form on how to stop withholding from your paycheck. It's all there. Okay? You can stop the withholding to begin with. Once your employer steals the money from your paycheck, it's hard to get it back. Okay? It's risky to try to get it back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so best thing to do is just stop the stealing of money from your paycheck by employer first. And then you have to file and you'll be good. All right, Philip?
Awesome. I really appreciate your support in all this. I thank you for your service. You're a patriot, a true patriot, and I really believe in what you got going on. And I can't wait to participate in this, and I can't wait to start it up.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for calling. I appreciate your support.
Yes, sir. You have a great day, sir. Thank you.
Great meeting to you, my friend Philip. Let's go now to some people who send more questions by email to us. We have an email here from Banu. No, we saw this was last week from FDB. This Banu we called last week, I think. This is April 13th. I think we answered this last week from Banu. So that got answered. Let's see. Then we got a letter here from, I know this one. We got from Mr. Lopez. And Mr. Lopez says, look, I gave your information to some unknown source. Give all information, and this unknown source answer was the content of what Freedom Law School says. Okay, it claims appears to promote sovereign citizen or redemption theories. No, baloney. I don't promote sovereign citizen or redemption theories. I don't give this garbage. Some stupid computer, whoever it was, I don't do these things at all. So obviously they don't know what they're talking about. What I teach is based upon laws as published by Congress, U.S. Treasury regulations, the IRS 1040 form and instructions, U.S. Supreme Court decisions, and government's own publications. Some mainstream news media reports I should use also. That's it. So this is a bunch of baloney. Told you Mr. Lopez about Freedom Law School. Slow down. The video, he sent a 10-minute video on income tax that we have on our website, the very first 10-minute video on income tax law. This right here on the front page. He says 10-minute video, is it 7 minutes now, a shorter one? It's 7 minutes here. Okay, and he sent that to somebody else to see what they say. Look, this is easy to read. Why give it to somebody else? You have a brain? Think for yourself, see for yourself. You do. I'm not giving you some sovereign citizen theory or redemption theory. Okay? It's all government's own official legal websites. All right? So don't go by somebody else's opinion. Read and hear and think for yourself, my friend. Okay? Now we have another letter here. We have from somebody who sent a letter to the IRS, apparently. Okay? And this person says long dissertation about, doesn't even send to here, about North Carolina. I guess they did. Some unaddressed to nobody. There's nobody addressed to. Federal income tax filing requirements, does not say how it relates to the state of North Carolina. Okay? You guys think these people in the government are smart enough to read and understand this stuff? Seriously? There are a bunch of people that fall off the street. They don't understand this stuff you're signing here. I don't know where you got this thing. But don't bother. Why are you sending letters to the government agents? They don't read them. They're too low intelligence. Now, I see you got some good stuff on your references on the court cases you have in there, but I haven't read this whole thing that you got here, which is, about a dozen pages, small print. Here's the small print. So I wouldn't write to these guys. Don't waste your time. Okay? Don't worry about writing to these guys. Just educate yourself more at freedomlawschool.org. Okay? All right. So it looks like we've done any with questions live or any questions online that have been answered already. No? Okay. Any last callers? If you have a question right now, the call line or the lines open. You can call right now. Get your question answered. Dial 424-552-1299 and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. Call 424-552-1299 and then press 1 on your telephone keypad, and I can take your question next. Okay? Looks like there's no questions there, so maybe I'll just end this, brothers and sisters. I love for you to be free and prosperous, have choices in your life, and have the life that you want and you deserve, by not having a bunch of it taken away or given away to the enemies of your enemies in Epstein gang, billionaires in D.C. and New York. But I cannot do it for you. You have to choose education and freedom. It is said, seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Well, it's there at freedomlawschool.org. If you want to be free, you have to take the time on your cell phone and your car, put it on, and you were to and from work, shopping, and errands. Let the videos play. Okay? Start with step 1, follow the law. Just about 10 minutes. All these short videos. Then at your work, at lunch, or dinner at home, you play it again. This time, watch and verify what you're seeing is the law with your own eyes. And hear it again, and you see, oh, it's true. I don't need to be afraid of the IRS. I can be free. Yes, you can be free if you lose your fear of the IRS by educating yourself. That's what it takes. And 99% of you can stop filing income tax on your own. You'll be just fine. Just fine on your own. It's free at freedomlawschool.org. If you want to join other people, freedom lovers, seekers like founding fathers, and stand together to have America be free, yes, and have this IRS tyranny implode like the Soviet Union, collapse of its own weight from within, and protect each other like the founding fathers did, you join the Restore Freedom Plan. Take 30% of what you would have paid the billionaire, Epstein billionaires in D.C. and New York, give it to the Restore Freedom Plan, unite with each other, and the rest 70% you get to keep for yourself and your family. Have a better life. We guarantee 100% and safety. No prison time. They will not take your money. We do all the work. We'll reimburse you if they ever take any of your money. You're safe. So you have options. You decide. But either way, I hope and pray for every one of you that you choose enlightenment, education, to be free rather than ignorance. Don't just go watch football, baseball, dancing, partying, drinking, whatever, partying, fun activities. Yes, have some fun in your life. But if you want to improve your life, you got to make a little time to educate yourself too. And tell other people about us. We'll mail you for free as many of these Fast Track Your Success or Restore Freedom brochures for free. They have the same content, and both inside show you why no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay federal income tax. That's right. And you put your name and phone number at the bottom. When someone calls us, join, we'll give you, thank you, send you cash or gold or crypto in the mail for you introducing somebody else to be free. Give them a chance to be free. Take advantage of all this, folks. You don't have to be poor. If you're poor, get out of it. Pass out our brochures at the supermarkets, wherever you are, dentist office, mechanics offices, friends, relatives, co-workers. Okay? Tell them, hey, you get $50,000 if you show him wrong. Split the $50,000 with me if you show him wrong. Please, I'm going to collect this $50,000 reward. Just challenge people, right? They say, oh yeah, that's easy. Okay, good. Well, let's split the $50,000 reward together. Okay? Let's go to the caller from area code 347. Just called in. 347 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Fred. I first want to thank you, sir, for what you're doing. You are a true patriot, and I thank you for what you're doing, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support. Fred, how can I help you, my friend?
My question is on hypothetical, if you will. Let's say you had somebody who made the mistake of signing the 1040 and agreed to pay the IRS for last year for debt that they owed. And then this year, let's say they want to stand up for their rights, like you said, and take back what's theirs, and decided not to file taxes this year. What are the chances that because now they are indebted to them for last year and they're on a payment plan, that they're, they become part of the radar now for this year?
Bob, how did you hear about us, Fred?
Well, I believe it or not, I heard about you maybe like 2 years ago, but then you popped up again on the Jimmy Dore show, and you came right back, and I've been binge watching you. I've been on your website, and yeah, man, I admire what you're doing, man.
Thank you. Thank you for your support and acknowledgement, Fred. Listen, just because you filed the 1040 confession form for previous year, it does not mean you are on the radar and they're going to keep an eye for you.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that. There is 80 million Americans, 80 million Americans who are according to IRS's best estimates, they don't even know, were required to file a 1040 income tax confession form, but they don't. And I got this letter on my screen right here for you, those of you to see on our website at freedomlawschool.org, okay? Here they say a 1998 letter to this guy in Oregon. They say, based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate, that is their word, right? There are approximately 63 million taxpayers who have not filed a tax return and would appear to have a legal requirement to file. These estimates are based on data available to the service on the individual master file, the mainframe computer of the IRS. 63 million with an M. So one more added to that list. You think it makes a difference? No. It doesn't make any difference at all. There's nobody watching you. As long as they got you brainwashed, believing, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. You better stay in line. They got you. Okay? But they're not watching you. That's just the deception they got on you going on successfully because they got the American people scared by the lying, corrupt major media that lied to you about so many things that IRS says this powerful thing that will eat you alive if you don't file and pay tax return, you know? It's all a bunch of baloney because all your life you've been brainwashed with lies about IRS power and how weak you are, okay? IRS is not the big monster Godzilla they pretend it is. It's a toothless, foulest lizard. If you don't file those 10 for income tax confession forms, so you'll be just fine. Stop filing from here forward. Stop income tax withholding from your paycheck. If you're a business owner, no more estimated quarterly payments. You can even probably fire your accountant and CPA. Get a simple bookkeeper to keep track of your books. That's all you need. And you'll be good. You'll be free. Fred, anything else?
Can I ask you one more question? I think everybody wants to know this, sir.
Sure.
When are you running for office? Because we need people like you in office, man. We need people, real patriots like you, standing up for us.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate your love and support. Here's the thing. I see my role more into helping other people get elected. Because if I run for office,
I get you, sir.
that means that I'm not able to do all this to empower you to be free. But I'd rather empower you to be free. And those of you who belong to Restore Freedom Plan, some of that money is going to go to help us get on platforms like Jimmy Dore, like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes, sir.
It takes money to get things done. And then we reach more people. And then with some of that funds, we can also get people reelected, like Congressman Thomas Massey of Kentucky. If you've not given to Thomas Massey, Kentucky, I recommend you do. He's a great congressman to be reelected. Those of you know about him, go to Congress. Thomas Massey, go contribute to his campaign. There's a guy running in South Carolina. I met Mark Lynch, great guy, business owner, small business owner, running for Senate in South Carolina. Mark Lynch for Senate, and he's running against that warmonger in chief, Lindsey Graham. Okay, so support people like Mark Lynch. Okay, that's what we need to do more of. Okay, to get America back. Get people in government that actually represent you, the American people, not the Epstein gang billionaires. All right, Fred?
I thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, my friend. My pleasure. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
All right, guys, I think I've been this call. Play along tonight. Y'all have time to call. If you had questions, you had called by now. So I'm going to say call it quits and go home and get some sleep. Okay? I'm going to be at the Bitcoin event in Las Vegas. We just start next Monday. What's the website on that event? We're going to put it on our screen. If you're going to be in Las Vegas or into crypto, you might want to come up and meet me in person there in Las Vegas. I'll be there next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Here it is on our screen. You see it, Bitcoin 2026 Las Vegas, April 27th to 29, okay? So the website is 2026.b.tc. 2026.b.tc. So hope to see you guys in person, some of you. And I wish you all love, joy, freedom, and prosperity. And Freedom Law School is there for you, your source of empowerment, truth, and freedom.